pollinate or some shit, and like little seeds will go flying everywhere.
You'll have COVID for life.
Oh man, it's the new anthrax.
The secret poison.
Thursday. Thursday is the official opt-out deadline for the NFL. Just got released.
It's just funny how much these sports have changed in the last month and a half, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was looking for a long time because of those discussions that we weren't going to have a baseball season. Then we had that. And now it looks like, we're not going to have a football season because
we might not finish our baseball season.
Yeah.
NFL's not going to be any better, man. The NBA's doing a great job.
The bubble.
They should have done what NCAA is going to do.
Yeah, check.
They should have done what the NCAA was going to do and change up the divisions, make it regional.
Testing.
And then just gone from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it doesn't matter if you're the AFC North anymore. I mean, AFC North probably could have stayed the same because that's all pretty close. Baltimore's a little bit out there. But you could have done like Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Baltimore, Chicago.
Indy really should be in the Browns division.
Green Bay and Detroit, put them all in Indianapolis. They could all play at Lucas Oil. And then just change the schedules accordingly to make that your team. So you're playing your division, you're playing those teams, like whatever. And then you could have done the same thing, Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, all those teams down there, New Orleans, blah, 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 blah. They all go to New Orleans. And then you do all those teams over there in the West, like Arizona and San Francisco and all them, they go to Dallas. And then, I don't know, another dome. But there's enough domes that you could have done that where they're playing just there 3 games a week or 3 games a Sunday, 1 game on Monday, so you don't ruin your schedule. Got 8 games, 8 teams. They always play there. Boom, you're done.
You think there's a chance that it comes to something like that ever?
No, it's too late now. But that's how they should have done it.
Yeah.
Just bust it up for one time and call it a day. Like during World War II, they fucking combined the Eagles and the Steelers.
Dude's fucking comparing it to World War II.
I'm just saying, like, in a moment where you couldn't have sports, they found ways to
Remember
do it.
that time back in World War II?
They were the Steagles.
I do remember that. It was awful.
You do not remember that. You weren't born.
No, I remember reading. We read about it, like history of the Steelers and like all their different team names leading up to them. No, not actually.
This guy's talking about World War II. I remember that.
No, I remember reading about it. With like how the NFL originally started, what the teams were, what teams merged together.
Yeah.
The old Super Bowls. What was it called? It was just championship games, right? It wasn't
NFL
the Super Bowl.
AFL and NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah.
AFL was a different league, though.
Yeah, but they brought those 2 leagues, like the champion of each league, and they faced, which is kind of cool when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the oldest team in the NFL is the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. Oldest team. Never would have thought.
Good old Cards.
There's been like 50 or 60 teams, I think.
Yeah.
Like there's like probably even more than that, actually.
Over the course of time.
Like you had the Canton Bulldogs, the Cleveland Rams, like all of these teams that started and failed. I don't know. I saw a dope video once that showed like
to shift your
as they went.
Oh.
Yeah, that or turn your mic. It's all I can see. Yep, that's perfect.
Okay.
All I see is poll otherwise.
We red dotted yet?
We've been recording.
All I see is pull. All I see is pull.
Poll. You want to get going?
Let's do it.
All right, y'all, if you're a fan of the show and you tune in weekly or however often you tune in, make sure you're liking us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Made to Motivate Podcast. Subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube. That way you know when we upload new videos to that channel. And do what you can to share the page when we have new episodes. We appreciate all the support. And with that being said,
you know what time it is.
Podcast Tuesday!
Live from Made to Motivate.
Has the goddamn goal to call us out on a Tuesday night? Damn it!
So long now.
Sorry.
It feels so long.
I think it sounds great, though.
Well, what's up, guys? This is Made to Motivate Podcast, Season 2, Episode 30, or 29 and a half, or 29 if we disregard last week. We're going to go 30, though. Your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined with Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated. How's it going, sir?
What's going on?
And Chris, the film freak Kessinger.
I'm back.
What's up, bud? You are back. What are you out? Like 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think 3 counting your half episode last week.
Yeah. This has been
Hiatus.
schedule conflicts and stuff, and Chris has got to get up super early for work. So
Yeah, it's a bitch.
recording super late just is rough. But we are gonna start recording a little bit earlier, so Chris should be back for the foreseeable future. And we need to fill a 4th seat. Like if you want to be a guest, you just want to come hang out one week, let us know.
Absolutely.
Got this guest mic we raised all the money for. Might as well like do something with it. We have guests occasionally, but it doesn't have to be like someone famous or anything. Like Tom wants to just come hang out.
It could be.
Well, it can be.
If you're famous and you'd like to
Absolutely.
come on the show,
sure.
We'd love to have you on if you are well known.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
That would be
And
awesome.
Only been asking you for almost a year now, bud.
this freaking guy. Need to figure that out.
I
Just
got
go knock on
Put
his
on
door.
fucking Sports Illustrated just for you to come on the show.
Right? All that hard work needs to pay off at some point. But yeah, we can just have some friends on, hang out. I like when we have a 4th person. It's nice. So outside of that, since last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, really, what's going on? That's a lot to think about.
I've had a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, what's going on in the last 2 weeks, Jesse?
Today's my anniversary.
Happy anniversary. 2
My
years?
2 years. I'm here with you guys, so it's going great.
Well, you had
No.
a fun-filled weekend.
No, yeah, we had a good weekend. We went to Diamond Grill. Fantastic. If you haven't been, greatest steaks in Akron. What else did we do? We did a lot of stuff.
You went out. So we went out Friday. We had
Cool.
some anniversary shots on Friday.
Yep.
You went to the museum.
Yep, we went up to the museum. That was fun. I had been there before. I was wrong.
Just forgot.
I think I was like really young
Yeah.
because the only thing I remembered was the pendulum
Okay, yeah.
that like proves
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the
yeah.
Earth
On the,
rotates.
like,
I don't remember what the scientific name is.
Yep. I'm
Um,
pretty sure like every school took their class there as a field
No,
trip.
I
yeah.
did.
No, my mom took me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You didn't go for school? You don't remember going for like a school field
I
trip?
went to Akron Public. We didn't do field trips.
Alrighty.
But
He's talking about the Natural History Museum, by the way. I recommended that as a
there's so much stuff up there though. There's
So
like an art
fun.
museum and a music museum and like all this
Science.
stuff all right
Great
there.
Lake Science Center. There's a lot of cool stuff in Cleveland that people don't know.
It was
They never
dope.
realize. If you go to, was the new outdoor extension open?
Yes,
Okay,
with the
cool.
animals.
Yep.
It was dope. It was like a mini zoo. They had like there was nothing that was like amazing like a zoo, but there was a lot of cool stuff. Like we
Yeah.
saw like a bald eagle really close. Bunch of coyotes were out there running around playing and stuff.
Yeah, that's newer in the last couple years.
Yeah, their dinosaurs were dope though.
Dude,
Like
I
all
love
the-
the dinosaur exhibit.
Steph had like this super weird like she was like, I know that they're like dead, but I just have this weird like fight or flight thing going on right now. So she's like standing all close to me, and I was like, it's probably gonna get you. She's like,
Welcome
fuck you,
to
don't say that.
Jurassic Park. Yeah, I love that. I love all the little like diorama, like miniature, like
The
setup.
thing that sucked was a lot of stuff was not open because of like Corona, just like interactive exhibits and things like that.
Yeah.
But they did have one where like it like simulated an earthquake and you stood
Oh,
on the
yeah.
platform and stuff. Like
Yep.
there was a lot of cool stuff though. I'm glad we went.
Yeah, good times. So you did that. You haven't done mini golf tournament yet.
No, that's tomorrow.
I'll play tomorrow.
How you feeling?
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna win.
Feel like a winner.
We had one guy already play, didn't we?
I did. I played. I think I got a 106. Do we know what the par is?
I looked into it. It was 51 each game, so 102 is par.
Oh, so I played 4 over
You're
par,
pretty good.
which is not
The
bad.
pars are ridiculous on mini golf courses.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, 102 for that course is tough.
We only had 2 guys that beat that score.
Yeah, we played round 1 of the Chris Kessinger 12th annual
12th annual.
mini golf tournament. I was in one of the first day of games or whatever because Saturday got delayed. So, but yeah, I scored a 106, which I'm pretty pumped about. Hopefully, that is sufficient for a round 2.
Technically won your group.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I did pretty good.
So
I'll take it. What did you do since? Well, you haven't been on the show in a while. But
Yeah.
What's gone on recently? Last week, 2 weeks, other than getting the mini golf going and
yeah,
vacation.
that's kind of been the thing. Yeah, I'm on vacation this week, which is awesome. Had to use it or I'll lose it here in the next month. But yeah, we're doing that this week. The mini golf tournament's running in full effect. We had to cancel day 1, unfortunately.
Yeah.
My fault. But we're back on top of it now. And yeah, nothing really big. Just kind of some projects around the house and
Yeah.
fixed the garage doors today.
Good stuff.
Mhm.
Drinking some beers and hanging out.
Drinking some beer straight from California.
Stone cold.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, nothing too exciting. It's been pretty much the standard stuff. I mean, we can't do much.
Yeah.
And with all the rain and crap going on lately, mini golf was a nice just get out and do something. So nice relief there. I'm supposed to have a short week this week. I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
This is the weekend that we do our annual Put in Bay trip, which obviously isn't going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which fucking sucks. This is the first time since 2012 that I won't go, which is shitty.
You still get the days off, right?
I'll still be off. I got to figure out something to do.
You could finish your deck.
Maybe if Home Depot had fucking wood.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, so after the tournament yesterday on Sunday, I go to Home Depot. I've been putting off going. The reason I haven't worked on the deck lately is because I needed new drill bits because the ones that come with the screws I use, the deck screws, they've just stripped out from just so many screws.
Mhm.
So I had to go buy new ones. So I went and got those, and I needed some extra wood for the pergola and some more slats, like floor slats for the stairs.
Mhm.
So I'm like, fuck it. I'm at Downview. Home Depot's right down the street. I might as well just go. So I go, empty. Literally. There's no fucking wood. I go on the app. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just go on and do like pickup. You cannot order this online. You must go to the store and pick it up. I'm like, well, I'm here. There's no fucking wood. So then I go on Lowe's app. I go on Menard's app. I search like Home Depot, check other stores, out.
Oh, so you did all of them.
No wood.
My God.
Brian had a nickel for every time he heard that.
Hey, this guy. Yeah, so I mean, I can work on the deck some more. I got the drill bits. I can finish up like from what I have. But I'm like, really?
Why
Why is there no wood?
That's weird because they usually are like stocked.
Yeah.
And
there's
I
a ton.
know
That's one of the things where you'd go in and be like, there's no way that would ever be out.
right.
It's like being out of paint.
McDonald's ran out of burgers.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to Wendy's once and they ran out of burgers.
I once went to Burger King and they didn't have any burgers.
What?
Only
Bullshit.
chicken.
You're not the king.
Fresh, never frozen. I get I know there was shortages and stuff initially when COVID hit.
Sure.
It's August now.
Yeah.
Like we've been out of lockdown.
Yeah.
And
People are back to work now.
Right.
Like, you have no excuse to be doing projects at home.
I asked the dude, I was like, so can I order wood since it's not here? And he was like, you can, but you might get it. You might not get it. It could take 2 months. You might never get it. We might have to refund you the money.
He
I'm
said
like,
that?
yeah, I swear to you. That's what he said to me. I'm like, what?
He just started there today.
I'm like, I might get it or I might not get it. How's that work? So I don't know what construction companies, I mean, they probably go to bigger places,
Mm-hmm.
but your regular DIYers that do home remodeling, most of them have contractor accounts at Home Depot or Lowe's, and that's where they
Right.
buy their stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, it's wild.
That's
It
a
can't
lot,
be
though.
backed up 2 months.
I know.
I
Dude,
was just
ordered-
at Home Depot a couple days ago getting paint for our bathroom.
Yeah.
And there was wood, tons of it.
How long ago?
A week?
Really?
Maybe a week and a half?
So I wonder if something happened then. Dude, I sent you the picture.
Yeah.
Is empty.
Yeah, it's not just one
There's,
kind. That's
There's wood for craft stuff, in 2x4s you can get,
Mhm.
but any kind of treated lumber, outdoor construction decks and anything like that, fences, nothing. There's none. There was no deck slats, the deck boards, nothing. Maybe I check
all
back and
those.
I just keep going and checking because I'm I want to get it done,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but that just fucking sucks. But
That was another thing I did. I got all the glue off of my wall finally
yeah.
from that fucking
it looks good.
50-year-old
Yeah.
stuff.
I
So
forgot
yeah,
about that.
I'm painting tomorrow, getting it all done
I'm
tomorrow.
supposed to do that already.
It was
been
my
doing-
it was my fucking anniversary weekend.
All right, you get a pass.
If you're late
Yeah.
for your game,
You
you're
should have done it for your
disqualified.
anniversary as a gift to Steph.
No, no,
You wanted to keep that smile on your brother wallpaper a little longer.
All right.
we don't do gifts.
No?
No.
Yeah, no, either do I.
I mean, we do super expensive dinner. Like that steak dinner we went to was $200. So
On food, man.
it was so good though.
Can't do it, man.
I got scampi,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just 2 giant ass shrimp that they split down the middle and
Yeah.
dusted and gave you hot butter on a candle so that it didn't
Yeah. it
ever
stays
not
warm.
melt and stuff. That was fantastic. She got a filet mignon,
Oh,
12 ounces. I got a New York strip. I usually get the ribeye, but last time it wasn't great. So I got the
You
strip.
didn't get filet? Not enough meat?
I don't like fillets.
Really?
Fillets don't have enough flavor to me because they're too
Yeah.
lean.
Yeah.
Ribeyes are my
I get
go-to.
that.
Yeah, ribeye is usually my go-to, but for whatever reason, last time I was just not blown away. But their strip is amazing.
Yeah.
18 ounces,
Mm.
Jeez.
so good. And then I got green beans with that. They do the salad and all that. They have their
Yeah.
own garlic whatever, but that's not what you're there for. I was there for the shrimp and the beef, man.
Shrimp and the
It
beef.
was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I occasionally will I'll enjoy a nice meal like that, but for me, it's hard to justify spending $200 on a dinner. That's like groceries for a month.
That is true.
Dude, I just that's just hard.
Or-
I get it, it's good,
Or
but
shoes for a day for you.
it's a pair. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather spend $200 on a pair of shoes than a steak that's gonna come out of me in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man. I do like a good steak though. Filet like wrapped in bacon, like
Yeah.
sauteed
Yeah.
mushrooms.
My brother does that.
Steakhouses always have really freaking good potatoes too,
Mm-hmm.
like mashed or baked, whatever. So I get it. It's just not food's just not my doesn't like get me super.
What's like your top
jazzed up.
3 things that you'll spend money on?
Shoes,
Yeah, I knew that was one.
tech, any kind of tech, camera gear, video recording equipment, podcast stuff. Vacation, does that count?
No.
Like
Items.
actual items. Yeah, I mean, gadgets is like the thing I spend most of my money on. That shoes, I don't know, maybe clothes. I don't really buy a lot of stuff. Like most stuff I have is like technology based stuff. You know,
Yeah.
iPads and cameras. I've got like 5 GoPros. I love GoPros.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Spend money on that.
Mhm.
What about you, Chris?
Movies,
Movies,
jerseys, and food.
jerseys,
Probably
yeah.
what it is.
Food, really?
Yeah.
What's your go-to place? Like, what's your favorite? If you're gonna spend money,
I forget before it closed. I loved Maggiano's. I love the hell out of
I never went
Maggiano's.
there.
Up in what's that ritzy mall? Beechwood.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. I like Red.
Red's
Yeah.
good.
I've never been there.
I don't think it's good as Diamond, but it is really good.
Diamond is good.
I like Diamond. I haven't been there in a while. I have to refresh my memory on that one. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm more of a pasta guy anyway. So like, if you've got a good pasta place, good Italian place, I'll be there.
It's not spaghetti.
Yeah, I grew up on spaghetti. It was every night. So
Yeah, I love spaghetti.
yeah.
What about you? What are your top 3 things you spend money on? You're cheap, so you probably don't
I
spend
am
money.
cheap.
but-
I don't spend a lot of money. I always go out of my way to get like the new like gaming thing, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Oh,
Like
that's a good
when the
one, yeah.
PS5 comes out, I'm gonna get it opening day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a couple of games.
That would be you too then.
Yeah, I like video game stuff.
That's
too.
my,
That's
like,
probably-
I usually buy
It's
things that
kinda like
last
the
a long
gadgets.
time. So like
Yeah.
like my PS4, when I bought it, I got it on opening night. It's lasted me what? I mean, we're coming up on like 8 years or something
Yeah.
that thing's been out. PS5 will be something similar.
Yeah.
Food is another thing. I don't do it often, but if there's like something that I really like, if we ever go back out to Vegas, like I really want to go to some of those high end
Yeah.
restaurants.
You ever had the Aria buffet?
Yes, it's
So good.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
so good. Um,
I'll splurge.
my last one's probably sports, like going to games
Okay,
or
that's a good
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
I don't spend a lot on like jerseys and stuff just because like every time I do, a Browns player leaves. So I get all my jerseys from China now. You'd never know it.
China.
But yeah, like games and stuff. Like me and Chris were talking today. Browns ever go to the Super Bowl, like there is
Yeah,
no
bro.
cost that I will not
That's
pay.
crazy. I mean,
No,
like,
I saw that.
I get that from their perspective in terms of, it'll probably never happen again and all that. But like,
Mm.
God, $4,000, man.
This dude said he would refinance his house.
Dude, I would.
Dude,
I would literally get
For
a
the
loan
Browns
on the
game?
mortgage.
Why not just watch it at a bar,
It's
like
not the
in
same.
downtown
So
Cleveland?
look, when the Cavs won the championship, right? I could have been in a bar. Instead, I was up in Cleveland in the crowd.
That's what I'm saying. Down at a bar in Cleveland. You were at the game?
The game 7 was in Golden State.
Oh, you went to like the watch.
So I was
party.
in the watch party.
Yeah.
Snagged those tickets. They were out in like
What did that cost? Like
$2
$50?
No, nothing. They were like $10.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
$5 or something to get
Yeah.
in or something. But even if it was $100, I was going to be there.
That's different than 4,100.
That is different than 4,100. But that was also the Cavs, not the Browns. I would trade all 4 of those championships had they won them all
Yeah.
for one Browns Super Bowl. I would trade it all. I could never watch the Indians or Cavs win again for a Browns Super Bowl.
Yeah, I get that.
It's totally different.
I just the spending the money to me, like it would be enjoyable, but I think I would be equally like if I'm going to spend the money or not. Like I watched the Cavs win out at a bar
Yeah.
like with other people, and that was fun. But
Mhm.
I just
100, bro.
being there.
Yeah.
That's something that you will never forget.
No,
But they
it's
might
the- it's the
lose.
experience.
I
They
know.
might lose.
So I told Steph the other day because we were literally talking about it before you asked me on Facebook.
Mhm.
She thought it was weird. She's like, "Did you tell him we were talking about that?" But I told her like my worst fear.
I saw you and Nick were talking about. It's where I got the question actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or it's that bug he put in your house.
Yeah, whatever. You can
We
listen.
went to the drive-in. Remember
But,
that bug you put in?
Regardless, I don't care. Listen to me. I don't give a shit. But
Like, wait a minute, what?
she was like, well, she said that, what if they lose? And I was like, you got to watch me. Like, I'm not going to jump off of a
It
bridge,
might be suicide.
but like, I'm not going to eat. Like, I'm going to be stuck in the bed. Like, I will literally not go to work for a week if the Browns, like, that is
if they went to the Super Bowl and lost?
that is my worst fear.
Really?
Like, I think about the Bills going to 4 straight
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Bowls and losing every single one. And I just don't know how they can do that. Because,
Yeah.
like, Bills Mafia is like
Yeah.
Browns fans. Like, they are hardcore.
Some of the best.
They're, blue collar. They don't have anything really. They're in Buffalo.
Shitty
like,
weather.
Right.
shitty weather, just getting beat up on for years. And then they got to go 4 times in a row. They're the fans that I sympathize with most in the NFL. Like, if I respect any fan base, it's Bills fans.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you make it through that. I would be devastated. But if they
that
win,
connection.
if they win though, you better believe I'm going to be on that field at the
Dude's getting
end.
arrested.
I will rush to the field, and I guarantee you, once one of us goes, all of Cleveland will be down there.
All
We're,
arrested.
we're just different, man. It's just
all
like
up in
the
arms.
fucking Cavs parade when like 1.3 million people show up. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, that was a lot of people.
I was just thinking about it from like a family perspective. So Jesse's married, and like $4,100 is gone now, man. Like
Yeah.
just because of a football game.
She already
Right.
knows. Like
He's
my
like,
mom.
college fund for my kid.
No, that's a lot of
No
dough.
big deal.
If it's 1,000, that's one thing. Like I would probably spend 1,000 for a Cowboys Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like I could see 1,000, 4,000.
Well, no,
The most outlandish money I spent on something like that ever was to go see Katy Perry.
Yeah.
And I spent, I think, like $400 a ticket for 2 tickets.
It's fair.
And it was aftermarket, and that's not much. Like
She was
we
big,
were
though.
like
close.
good seats,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like really good seats, and I'm like, and tickets were like $80.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a lot over regular price, but like wasn't even 1,000 total.
So is that the most you ever spent then on like a live act, whether it's a game or concert?
Absolutely, yeah.
I spent 200 on Tool the last time we went to Tool.
Yeah.
We had really good seats.
Katy Perry and then Billy Joel. Those were like
Mm.
300 some a piece, but it was well worth it.
Was that the Elton one?
No, it was Billy Joel at Jacobs Field, and Andrew McMahon opened for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Most recent one.
But like 4,100, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
That's
there's
tough.
4,100.
those are the things. Those are the stories you always
Next day,
tell.
Jesse's
though.
gonna lose his job, he's gonna, like sell his house.
Fuck it.
He's like, oh well, the Browns won a Super Bowl.
They would, man.
My life's
I would.
complete.
I would not care. I literally.
I mean, you have that connection. There's just nothing. I've never been one to get like emotionally tied, to like sports.
I have a
don't know.
photo. I've got like a family, friends, love thing that Steph got.
Yeah.
And
Live, laugh, love.
type of thing. Yeah. It's not that, but it's something like it. But regardless, it's a picture of me and my brother, or my brother-in-law, and we're like layered up like crazy. Like
Yeah.
we had like 13 layers of stuff
Yeah.
on because we had tickets to go to the Browns-Steelers game. And I think it was in 2007, I
Yeah.
want to say. I don't know.
Okay.
With the wind, it was negative 35 degrees.
Mm-mm.
It was the coldest I've ever been in my entire life.
Mm-mm.
And in that game, we sacked Big Ben 8 times, and we won for the first time in like 7 years.
13.
We had like a 13 game losing streak, and we won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, I've never had a better time in the fucking freezing cold. And I will always be able to tell that story. And just like, if something happens, like if the Browns are down 3 points or 2 points and they drive down and they kick the winning field goal,
Right.
time expires or something, like I was in Cleveland during the shot. I remember jumping in the air, and while I was in the air, just started sobbing because I just knew in that moment, this is fucking it.
Mm.
And like hugging all these random people, and
Yeah, I
the
did
bars
that.
running out of liquor while we were up there by like 11 o'clock. That is an experience I'll be able to tell my son about.
Yeah.
And you can't get the same experience from, if I was in Golden State, that would be 10 times that.
Yeah, man. That's wild to me.
That's a lot of
I'll
dough.
just never understand it, but
You guys are fucking privileged. You're Cowboys and a fucking Steelers fan.
Yeah, because we all remember how many times the Suns and the Mariners have won the championship.
You have
The-
championships, though. I have one.
The Mariners have championships?
No, but you're a Cowboys fan. You have 5.
Shit, I was
You
9 years
saw
old.
them. That's when they matter
Yeah.
the most.
I don't know
When
sports.
the Steelers go to the Super Bowl and lose, I'm like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah,
TV
you're-
off.
No.
You're whatever.
I'm going to bed. Bye.
I'm like, all right, cool. Food was good. Well, while we're on this topic, we might as well just hop over to locker room and talk some more sports.
I'm down.
Locker room.
Swung on, line to deep left field. It is gone! 45, 40. Run, William, run! 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the...
This is locker room talk.
Before we get into it, I have 2 new articles that have gone up in the last week and a half, and I have a bunch more on the way. So it's finally starting to pick up its stride. They're not making me do any of my editing or fact checking anymore. They're just going in with my old stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's dope. They're just flying through stuff right now, and I'm able to write new content. So if you're interested,
Lions
that
one
is
fantastic.
Oh, thank
I
you.
haven't read the Dolphins one yet though.
It is si.com/authors/Jesse Unk. So
Or
yeah,
easily
I've got
get to it on Twitter at Jesse Young SI.
Jesse Unk SI, yeah.
Go to Twitter. You have the link in your profile on there.
Yeah, I usually pin my new stuff to the top, and then the rest of it's in my bio.
Check out his tweet feed for new articles from Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated.
One of his friends asked when he was going to do, I think he said, when he's going to do a Packers list on his page. And he goes, well, I'm doing a Bears one.
I'm doing a Bears one right now.
They're arch rival.
Dude.
Well, fuck you.
I refer to the Packers in it. Rival number 1.
Jeez.
I mean, the Packers probably be a good one because they got a decent fan base, but
When do you get to start doing your own?
it's still up in the air because right now it's all got to be it's all got to be.
Yeah.
I can do my own stuff, but it still has to be team specific.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything that's top 10 quarterbacks because then it
Okay.
spans over a bunch of different teams.
Yeah.
But if I decided that I wanted to do something unique, why Tom Brady is the greatest, that could go under Tampa Bay now.
Right.
Or
They want to be able to pitch it to one and advertise for it.
the way that SI works is you've got your main stories, but every single story is then relegated to a team site that's
Right.
a subsection of their website. So my Browns one went on, I think it's called Browns Digest. My Chiefs one went to Chiefs Kingdom. The Miami one went to, I think it might just be called Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
I was not really getting a lot of stuff. Florida fans in general, man, are not very great fans.
That's because they have other shit down there. They're
Yeah.
not a sports
They don't
state.
have to worry about sports.
They're
They
really,
got-
but it's
got
crazy.
Disney
You'd
World.
think at least
Yeah.
one would be good though. Literally, the Dolphins don't have any fans. The Jaguars have no fans.
Mhm.
Tampa Bay doesn't really have any fans. They'll be good this year because Tom Brady's there and they got the hype. But
Mhm.
historically, they're just awful across the
But
board
to
as
Chris's
far as
point,
filling stadiums.
They've got other stuff.
Yeah, let's get in our Maserati and go cruise down the bay or something.
Right. They go to the
Yeah.
beach. Think about Ohio, we have nothing.
But
Y'all are,
California has some teams and they've got a bunch of stuff to do. They've got some guys that suck. The Chargers forever didn't have any fans.
Right.
But then you got the 49ers. They've had a fan base forever.
Yeah.
And Oakland, they've had, the Raiders have been a fan base for a long time.
They're no longer there.
That's true. And I
Las
bet
Vegas, right?
you'll still see that black and silver in California.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true. Those are historical teams. I just don't ever think of Florida as a sports town. Or
Mm-mm.
Miami,
state.
though, that's a historical
Yeah,
team.
Miami is a big one.
Those 70s teams were insane.
Not since Troy or Dan Marino.
Yeah. And he didn't even win.
Fucking laces out, man.
Laces out,
Laces
Dan.
Speaking of articles, what
Yeah.
happened with that fucking radio station?
Oh, bro. So did
Did we
even
talk about that on here?
I don't think
Do you remember if we talked about it on here? Some
don't
radio
think so.
station tried to rip Jesse off and stole his article.
No, we didn't.
So, all right, hit him with it real fast.
Okay. So I made top 5 Detroit Lions running backs of all time. And it's doing super well. Usually the SI stuff does a lot better anyways, just because it's Sports Illustrated and thousands of people go to that site every day.
Right.
But this one was doing particularly well. The guy who runs the Detroit site has a podcast of his own, has 40,000 followers on Twitter. He shared it out. Really nice. Reached out to me, really cool guy. People are engaging me from Detroit, all this other stuff. And it's just blowing up. So Hub Pages has this thing where when you click on your stuff to you can see what the traffic is coming from. So whether it's
Right.
Facebook, Google, Bing, it breaks it all down as to how they got to you. I go to check that out just to see hey, is this all SI? Is it coming from Google? Because ultimately you want Google.
Right.
and I get a notification that says somebody may have stolen your content.
That's so cool. You get that though.
No, that's
Yeah.
legit, bro.
And so I'm like, well, what the fuck? And I
Right.
click on that because I've never seen that before. And it goes to WKKY whatever.
Right.
So I click on it and it takes me to this radio station from, I want to say it was like Toledo or something, somewhere like
Yeah.
north
Yeah, it was.
between,
Yeah.
some random place, like not Michigan.
Mhm.
So why are you running freaking
That's-
stuff? I mean, Toledo's kind of like
That's
that
their
barrier.
team. Yeah.
But like they even said, they were like, we usually run Ohio teams, so it's kind of weird. So I put in like a DMCA, can't even remember what it's like, digital media something. It's a complaint basically for digital copyright infringement, digital media copyright something act, I think. So I put that in, and like they even give you like a breakdown like Hub Pages does. If you'd like to file a complaint, you can do this, copy and paste this and just fill in the sections. I put my name in, I put the article, the URL, all this other stuff. I send that over. And I'm pissed, and
Absolutely.
so I'm tweeting at them. I'm tagging them in Facebook. I'm calling and leaving messages because it's Friday afternoon.
Right.
Nobody's in their office. Like they've
Right.
got like their weekend radio hosts on, but like their GMs and guys like that aren't there. So I'm like, I gotta wait 3 fucking days to not get like that could be money in my pocket and like blah blah blah, because it's not a ton of money, but it's
Hey,
enough that
It's money.
I'm trying to get
clicks.
started.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between $100 and $150 or something like that.
Right.
And so so I do all of this stuff, and they call me back. Well, actually, I get an email back from the host that's going like right that day, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, I'm just a radio host. I don't really have any say over any of this, but the person that you're looking for is XYZ. He's our general manager. He's the guy that you want to talk to. So I'm like, cool. I call him up. The dude is super nice, obviously, like, which makes it even harder for me to be a dick.
Yeah.
And because my messages are like, this needs to come down right now. Like, this is bullshit. You're going to get your asses sued, like, blah, blah, blah. And then this guy gets on and he's like, well, yeah, we really want to help you out. I don't know how this would have happened, And so he's telling me, he's like, normally we run sports stories just for Ohio teams. He's like, we primarily only focus on like Ohio State, the Buckeyes, the Browns, and sometimes we do, I don't even know baseball, what's even near there, but it was some baseball team.
Mhm.
He's like, we don't even run Lions stories, so I don't know why that would have gotten picked up. And he was like, but I will reach out to our tech guys and I'll make sure that we get that taken down for you. I'm really sorry. So I'm like, all right, thank you. So he goes and he talks to the tech guy. The tech guy messages me in an email and he's like, hey, this is something that we don't control. We outsource to ESPN, and then they
Rip off Sports Illustrated.
relegate the stories into our feed. So we have no control over this, but the story has been taken down because it cycles through every like 4 hours or something. And so the URL itself exists,
Yeah.
but you won't find it on their website anymore. You'd have to like literally Google it.
They share the story for 4 hours.
But the issue is, no, I looked, it's not on there.
That's suspicious. Though.
But so
Passing off blame.
the problem though is they didn't share my story,
Yeah.
which I would have no problem with.
Absolutely.
Go out and share my stories. That would be fantastic. I will love you forever.
If you got the clicks, it'd be totally cool. I'd tell you to shut up.
right,
But
I don't get the clicks. They literally
Yeah.
copy and pasted it. And so now I'm like, okay, well, it's ESPN. They're fucking going on Sports Illustrated and stealing
that's
content. That
weird.
just doesn't seem like something
That's what I'm
ESPN
saying.
would
That
do.
seems sketchy.
But like, where the fuck did they find? Like, it literally, as my article went up, they had it. So it's like they're not. Like, I'm not big enough that they're going to be sitting on my content to wait and find it. So somehow my content got eaten up by an algorithm,
Yeah.
sent to them through something, but copy and pasted it.
Yeah.
So I was pissed. It's no longer on the website. My DMCA complaint is still out there.
You need restitutions.
It's still making money, I guess. So it's not as big of a deal, I guess. I'm going to be doing more Detroit content because they have had the greatest response out of
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah.
Cleveland did really good too. I think it's just like crappy, passionate teams that
Yeah.
do the best. So it's kind of why I went with the Bears. But yeah, I'm just jumping around and seeing who does the best with what. I thought the Chiefs would be a good one because they had just won, but I think that they're just like, yeah, we won. We're cool.
Yeah,
All right.
they
We're not
don't
going to
give a
look
shit.
anything up. Like, we don't care.
They don't have internet in Kansas City.
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
Missouri.
Missouri or Kansas?
No, I said
Missouri.
Kansas City, but
Oh, I think
Yeah, which one?
it's Kansas City, Missouri is where the Chiefs are located.
I'm not Trump, goddammit.
That's Fun clarification for our
I
listeners.
knew where-
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
But yeah, so that's what happened. Nothing happened.
What's going on in sports, though?
XFL.
It's back, baby.
Diggity.
Man, back
For
from
the
the
third
grave
time?
again. Jesus.
Is this third time
Just
around?
die. Yeah.
I want to know if Vince McMahon just like siphoned The Rock some money and said, hey, buy this, but I'm actually going to fucking run it.
Well, it's not just The Rock.
I know it's him and one other person, right?
Danny Garcia.
It's like a whole group, I think.
It's like
His wife is involved.
Red
He's
Group
involved.
Media.
But, yeah.
Well, his ex-wife is involved as his like business manager, accountant type person, but like
$15 million.
they each paid. So this was the two
Okay.
people. They each paid $15 million.
So $30 million, though,
Mm-hmm.
does not seem like enough to
Doesn't.
run a league.
Well, it was going
Even
to,
a
it was gonna
low-end
go
league like
bankrupt.
that
They probably like
just kept
paid
it
off the
afloat.
debt, whatever their debt was. I'm sure the net worth is probably more, but they just had to get them out of whatever they might have owed.
Have you guys watched any of the XFL when it was on?
The
never
second reincarnation here. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I watched 2 games, and I kind of liked a couple of the rules that they had going for them. I
Yeah.
thought the presentation of it all was really cool too.
Yeah.
You know, and
They did some stuff that I really thought the NFL should do.
well, yeah, and that was the thing with the first incarnation of the XFL. It was that the NFL adopted the like the overhead cameras,
Yep.
the challenge rules came from the XFL. So all those things, like, you know, they can take from a better game and make it a better game, you know?
Right.
Yeah, presentation wise, like hearing the coaches and like right after a kicker misses a kick, having them interview him on the sideline. I
Yeah.
love that stuff.
I never watched a single one, but
I think I watched
got good
like
reviews.
2.5 or something, and it wasn't enough to make me like a diehard fan where I
No.
really wanted to watch it every week. But it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, the football wasn't bad.
My buddy was super into it. They created that XFL podcast they were going to start,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, it went to shit. To no fault of their own, though. This
Right.
time around, I don't think was any fault of theirs. I mean, COVID,
yeah.
they literally started it, and then 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, COVID
Yeah.
hit like bad. What are you going to do?
And if you look at the ratings, they're actually consistent from weeks 1 to 3 when
Yeah.
it was going.
Yeah.
Like, it actually stayed pretty strong.
it
along
was
that time.
doing well, but you, after all that money vested, I mean, anyone, that's going to be hard to fight and try and survive.
Yeah.
But so anyways, The Rock and someone else, they bought it out. We'll see what that means for the future of it. But
And I think that's going to be something that's really good for the league because,
Mhm.
like, The Rock was part of wrestling. Like, that's the
Right.
most, like, showy, flashy sport that's out there.
Yeah.
Like, you can go into that and be like, all right, this is what's going to sell.
right.
Because, I mean, let's be real. When nobody's watching the XFL for real football, they want
No.
they want the bigger hits.
Spectacle.
They want the spectacle of it.
Exactly.
It's a show. It's real. I mean, they're actually playing, but like we're watching the NFL for real football.
Right.
And this is to get us by during the off season when we
Right.
don't have anything to watch. And he's going to make it fun. You know?
Didn't he have some like sports show?
Yeah, Ballers.
Well, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, on HBO.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but
Neither did I, but I know he had something else like that.
mhm.
Hey, we'll see. Well, I'll be curious to see what his involvement is, or if he's just like an investor. Like,
yeah.
let's
I
get
hope
that.
he's involved.
Me
I
too.
mean,
I like The Rock.
Yeah.
I would have preferred he ran for president.
he was a
over
football
buying
player
XFL,
himself.
but he was Miami.
Miami got injured.
Yep.
Wasn't that great before that, though? I thought he was one of those, like, you guys. He was not.
No.
No.
Yeah, so XFL's back. NFL news, people are dropping.
Like flies.
Yeah, people are dropping out.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
The Patriots are getting hit hard.
Are
They've
they?
lost 10 people from their defense.
Yeah, man.
Dante Hightower is one of them. Patrick Chung is another. They're 2 best defenders
Mhm.
off of the defense.
Ouch.
people
Now-
are dropping. People are coming out because they're getting sick. And then there's other players that are just saying, we're not playing. Like, we're not putting ourselves in this position.
I think as of right now, there are
Yeah.
38 players that have opted out, I believe. And the deadline has been moved to Thursday, which would be, I think, what's today? Oh, it's my anniversary. I should know that's the 3rd.
Wow.
The 6th.
The thoughts and comments of Jesse will
Yeah.
not be represented on this
Step and
anniversary.
listen.
Yeah, I remembered.
So if can a team drop out?
No. Well, technically, I mean, the entire team, I guess, technically could.
Like, I mean, what if a team's got, 12 people that say, we're not playing? Does the team just have to forfeit the season?
You just got to figure it out.
I think it's
You're
going to
gonna
be
have
like
get more unrestricted free agents off of the
the
street.
replacements. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
replacement players. You get them in there and get them their, 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
You might see a guy come out of nowhere. And
Yeah, man.
I like that though. Hungry players.
Just cancel it.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick's really going to have to prove himself this year because
Oh, God,
they're
yeah.
dropping big time. You
Yeah.
lost Tom Brady, and now he lost all those other people. And the Jets are taking a huge hit too. CJ Mosley is not playing,
Mm-hmm.
and they just traded Jamal Adams, so their
Yeah.
two best defenders have gone.
He didn't want to play in New York, and I can't blame him.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez,
it's just so what they're doing is if you opt out, you are getting, I believe it's $150,000 or $300,000 for your season,
That's not
which is
bad.
nothing for some of those bigger guys.
No, but at least it's something.
But that money is not free; it is coming out of your future contract.
Oh man.
So if you don't have, like, let's say that you're on, it's a contract year for you, you haven't been re-signed, and you're a so-so player. Sucks for you, man. You're not like if you're not sure you're going to contract next year, you can't opt out. You got to take the money that you can get right now.
Damn.
See, but what's good about that with someone like Odell Beckham, who has come out recently and said that, he's against all of this, against even having a season and all this. What's good with someone like him is he's not going to lose his job.
No.
Like even they could be out for 2 years, come back, and they're still going to take Odell Beckham in any team.
Right. And he did say there's no plans for him to opt out. Apparently he said all that stuff in that interview 2 weeks before they returned to the Browns facility. And the Browns have actually done a really good job with all of the COVID stuff. They're following obviously all of the league guidelines because you have to, but they have gone even above and beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Stefanski has come out and said that they're actually going to add even more stuff to their practices and all that other stuff just to make sure that they maintain that distance, make sure everybody stays healthy.
They can't catch a ball. I don't think they can catch COVID.
We got two of the best wide receivers in the league, way better than your trash. So let's just pump the brakes there.
It's just crazy. I don't know.
You guys lost James Washington. He's got, so,
Ben's been practicing. I have not much hope for him, but
Yeah.
he was thrown at Heinz Field today or this week or something. So,
Yeah.
We lost Michael Bennett to retirement.
yeah.
I think it was because of the whole COVID
I think
thing.
he
though.
lost the Cowboys to the XFL.
fucking,
We'd still lose.
Bruce Arians came out and he said that they are going to have a quarterback that is going to be isolated from the team during the year so that if for some reason something happens, they will have
Jeez.
somebody that they know is healthy, that knows the game plan that can go in.
Some poor soul just got to
Yeah.
that's awful.
It's not going to be good. I mean,
Right. So right now on August 3rd, percentage-wise, what do you guys think we have a season? Percentage out of 100.
That we're actually going to have a season?
I think the
Say
season's
60%.
60?
Mm-hmm.
I think the season's going to happen. I think that we're going to have a lot of players that go down during the year, though. I think that I would say that I'm 85% sure that we're going to have a season.
Wow.
Which is still a high percentage for me to think that it might not happen.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's a lot of money involved in the NFL.
There is.
really, it just comes down to like Dante Hightower was a huge one to go. Patrick Chung as well. But those still aren't like Hightower is, but like they're not like superstars.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get a guy like an Ezekiel Elliott, a Patrick Mahomes, somebody like that goes down first, and people start to follow, that's when you got to start worrying about a problem.
Mm-hmm.
If these people don't, drop out by the 6th, if the OBJs, the Russell Wilsons, Aaron Rodgers, if they're not leaving by the 6th, the season will happen. The issue is once you get into, let's say we go through the playoff or we go through the whole season and the only people that get sick are, the no-name guys, the Rashard Higgins, maybe like David Njoku, somebody who people know, but he's not great.
Yeah.
You don't lose anybody huge, but then you get to the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes gets COVID.
Fuck, man.
Does he have to sit for 2 weeks of the playoffs? And you got to try to make it work? I mean, you could have
Dude, what happens
anybody.
when Patrick Mahomes gets sick the day of the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
Oh,
that'll never come out.
Dude, they'd keep him in a glass case that whole week.
He will definitely play. They'll be like, yeah, I don't know. He's not, whatever.
Got to show them tests, man.
But the healthiest team, the one that like distances the best and maintains those restrictions, I think is a team that could win the Super Bowl this year.
I think that's going to be hard, though. Like, there's players in the bubble that are sneaking out for stupid shit.
Yeah, for sure.
These dudes are being...
Lou Williams going to the strip club.
You got to think, these dudes are used to freaking playing a game and then going out and partying, going to the strip club, going to the bar, like after party. They ain't trying to sit at fucking in the dorm.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever they're being held in Disney or whatever.
That's what the NBA players are saying. They were like, they asked them, like, you've got all of these things you can do. You can swim, you can play tennis, you can play ball, you can do all these things. And most of them said, go to practice and then I play the game and
Yeah.
then I go to sleep because
What are you going to do?
you're just like depressed. You're stuck. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah, man.
I think if there's one thing through this whole ordeal that I've kind of been grateful for with the NFL that they've adopted because of COVID is they've limited the preseason games to one now.
I thought they got rid of
zero.
it altogether.
Oh, is it zero?
Yeah, it's done.
They got rid
Even
of them
better.
now.
Even better. Throw it in the fire. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
preseason football is the most useless thing in the world. And I know it gets your pros fine-tuned and all that. Pro doesn't need a game like that. They don't even play in games like that.
Right.
So
Yeah, they canceled all preseason.
I don't want to see a 9-6 Cowboys and Bengals game. I could care less.
I think it's going to be interesting, though. I think that without those games, you could see a lot more non-contact injuries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a lot of ACLs. I think you're going to see like,
ACLs.
big-time issues. Because if you look at, like, you see ACL injuries, MCL injuries, and stuff like that, year-long injuries all the time now, hamstrings, things like that. You did not get a lot of that back in like the 90s, even in the early 2000s and before. A lot of those injuries were like, broken feet and, messed bone injuries that
Yeah.
messed you up. And once they started getting away from mandatory, padded practices, the players' unions got a little bit more leeway. They only could practice, they got rid of like the two-a-days. Then they got rid of the pads. They start off training camp wearing just shorts and like a helmet. You started seeing more and more of those non-contact injuries. And it was because they're not taking the abuse and getting used to it. In
Getting their body ready. Yeah.
And then they're not going hard enough. And when the game comes, they try to just turn it on and your body's not ready. And I could see us having an issue like that big time this year. Fantasy is going to be tough.
Yeah. We talked about that in our league the other day because we sent out the invites and my buddy's like, this is going to be weird. We're pretty much going to have to do it like days before it actually starts. We don't know where we're going with this.
Yeah. I have a draft on the 15th, and we've already decided our keepers. We delayed it as long as we could, but they kept pushing back the date for them to opt out. So I'm praying that Derrick Henry and Patrick Mahomes don't opt out. But yeah, anything could happen at this point. I've already got a dynasty league set up, and a couple of people have lost some like low-level players, but it's a deep league, so there's like nobody to pick up.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
Surprised your guys' percentages were that high, though. Gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, with it being the NFL and just how much it's watched, and those players are going to want to play. They're not going to want to not make the money. It probably could be a higher percentage, but I'm doubtful that it's going to continue. They might start it and then cancel it.
Yeah.
But I don't foresee a full season happening.
The thing that's
I don't
crazy
know.
is right now, most of the people that have, because they've got a exempt list where you're opting out, and then they have a COVID list where you're just on that until you're like deemed healthy.
Cleared, yeah.
And there are tons of players that have COVID right now. Most of them are rookies, but it's like every single hour you're getting new guys.
Oh, yeah.
And the Browns start testing daily tests, I believe, tomorrow or maybe even started today.
Yeah.
So you're going to see more and more of this as the summer goes on.
Yeah. And this is a physical sport. It's, it's spitting, it's physical grabbing, it's, tackling to the ground, all this stuff. Like,
Well, it's the time that it is too, because you got to think for a lot of these teams, like we're getting ready to go into winter when you're already going to have sick issues.
Right.
So now they got to determine, are you really sick? Do you got COVID? What are they going to do at that point? How many people are they going to take out because of that for caution, cautionary? It's going to be tough, even just everyday people like ourselves.
That's one thing that I think is total bullshit, though. You think that there's a 53-man roster times the 32 teams, whatever that equals out to, 6,000 something people,
Right.
and they're getting a test every single day.
Crazy, man.
Starting now, going until December.
Right.
Some teams going into all the way to February.
I could see like maybe every other day. They're not getting those results immediately, right?
I think for them,
they have
they
tests
are.
that are every they have the daily tests.
See, like,
And they know right then and there at that moment.
I
if they're
think it's
positive or
within
not?
like a couple hours. They know.
see,
How
but
does it fucking take
So
like a week
we
for
waited
everyone
4
else?
days for
I was gonna
ours.
say, why does it take a week for everybody else?
Yeah.
What kind of tests they got?
Because we're not a billionaire organization.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's bullshit. You got people that are driving in lines that are hours long waiting
Right.
for like a CVS to take a test that's going to take 3-4 days of turnaround.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, you could have caught it in the, 2 days
Before you
later.
knew.
That was my explanation. I said, so we're all standing out in the hallway waiting for this thing. I'm like, meanwhile, one of us has it and we all pass it across to each other and all that. I'm
Right.
like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. You don't show symptoms till 2 days after you already took the testing, then you get a negative back.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the weirdest
Salty.
test too, man. I'll talk about that some other time, but yeah.
We can talk about it and let's get social. What happened with homeboy with the torn ACL? You were speaking about injuries.
Oh, don't laugh, dude, because you're gonna get it next.
No.
Just be careful.
It's actually sad.
Speaking of injuries.
So there's this guy named Jonathan Isaac, plays for the Orlando Magic, and he decided to stand for the national anthem. He was the only person on his team or the other team that stood during the national anthem. I went into his reasoning, and his reasoning is not, like a lot of people are calling him like an Uncle Tom and all this other stuff, and I don't think that's fair. He is like a devout Christian. He believes that it's just like his beliefs. He believes in Black Lives Matter, but he also believes in police force. He doesn't believe in division, and he wants to respect the military. And he just thinks that he wants to respect his country, and that's fine, because I don't have a problem if you stand or if you sit. And like we said, we've talked before about how that would be a difficult decision, I think, at a game, whether or not we make that decision. Now we don't got to worry about it, but whatever. He goes out after this game.
Keep in mind, he's a very religious man.
Yeah, sorry. Whatever. He goes out into the game, and in a non-contact injury, goes to make a cut, tears his ACL, and falls down. And this guy commented he didn't take a knee, so God took the knee for him.
It's fucking awful, man.
It was funny, though.
We're all going to hell.
Right.
We're all going to hell.
You got to be able to laugh. I mean, come on. That just writes
The
itself.
irony. Yeah, the irony of that is awful.
Oh, man. But
what are the chances, honestly, of all
that's
people?
great.
I guess his magic ran out on that one.
Yeah. Hey.
Freaking but
Yes, soundboard.
So, but speaking of kneeling, the Thunder are now facing.
Yes.
I don't see how this is possible.
I don't think that legally this will happen, but a state representative of Oklahoma has now threatened the Thunder by basically saying they do not love this country that has given them a chance for this privileged life. They're disrespectful, blah, 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 blah. If they want to kneel for the anthem, we will revisit the tax benefits that these players are getting through the state of Oklahoma. So they're basically threatening, I don't know, to tax them higher maybe. I don't know what their benefits
they're probably
are.
Like a tax break or something.
Some type of tax break. They're going to take that away from them if they kneel. I mean, my first thought is that's illegal.
It can't be legal.
You can't do that.
Yes.
But just like to the point,
I guess they can do whatever they want, but
Who's threatening this? Like, who's the...
It just said a state representative. So I don't know if that's a governor. I don't know if that's a senator. I don't know if that's a fucking mayor.
They don't have... I don't think they have access to that kind of shit. Like, that's...
Nobody does.
Yeah,
you cannot change somebody's tax.
It's an empty threat.
Like, you can't change anything for somebody because of protest. Like, that's just illegal. If my school listened to this or saw me at a protest, they can't be like, well, we're going to change his salary and see if he stands for the anthem then. Like,
right.
I'll sue the shit out of you and I'll win.
Right.
So I just...
Yeah, that's a sketchy
It's just crazy to me that politicians are getting to the point where they're like threatening against your First Amendment rights. I feel like that's like a dangerous trend that seems to be reoccurring over and over and over again. But I don't know. I just read the Constitution. What the fuck do I know? But yeah, so I hope they keep on kneeling and fuck them.
I'm just like, it just blows my mind, the shit that we have to, like, that this is a real thing.
Yep.
Like, what?
I don't think this is possible. I don't think it's going to happen.
Breaking news.
Oh, God.
The Indians and Reds are playing.
It's not breaking news, but
Cowboys. Please not Cowboys.
Brady Henderson reports that the Seahawks are monitoring free agent wide receivers Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. Can you imagine that locker room? Just psycho on this side and smoking weed on this side.
Yikes.
I got to go through another Pete Carroll Super Bowl. I'm going to kill myself.
Oh, they wouldn't make it to the Super Bowl. If COVID doesn't get those two.
Dude, are they for real?
It says they're monitoring it. I mean, any team is monitoring it. We'll see. Exactly, right?
Hey. Puff,
Oh
pass.
my god.
We got anything else?
I think that's it for sports.
Sports? Yeah, I mean that's really. I mean, I don't know if we officially said it, but Ohio, there's no fans allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one actually.
Yeah, no fans are going to be allowed at any college or professional.
No fans are allowed at any sporting event.
events.
High school, college, professional. So if you were planning on going to the Browns games, not happening.
Yeah.
The comments I'm reading are mostly from parents, and they're upset because, like, so if their kid gets hurt or something like that, like they literally have nobody there to be with them.
They hang out in the parking lot
when that's happening.
I've seen a lot of things going around. Nothing on the scale of like a college game or a professional game,
Mm-hmm.
but I was driving by like a dance studio the other day, and you're not allowed to have the parents inside.
Yeah.
It literally was a bunch of parents in lawn chairs sitting out in the lawn in front of the dance studio, like hanging
looking
out.
through the glass.
No, just hanging out, waiting until their kids were done because they're not allowed to be inside. So they literally just had lawn chairs in like a circle, and they were just like mom timing, just hanging out there.
Well, the thing that
I've seen
crazy
I've seen
was,
several people say stuff like that, like they're just turning them into like mom dates, and they're fucking like hanging out.
Well, last week they said that I think it was like July 31st. OSHA came out and said that Ohio like high school athletics were going to happen, which I thought was ridiculous.
I thought so too.
Like half of these schools aren't even having class.
They're not even going to. They're not going to school, but you're going to allow them.
But we're gonna have fucking football.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But now they've come out and OSHA guidelines are saying that any contact sports, so wrestling, basketball, football,
any sport.
There are some that are not
Cross
like
country,
tennis, cross country, track,
any sport.
And baseball I think is contact also. But yeah, fuck you, I ran track. But they have to get a COVID test within 72 hours before every single sporting event. So football, I don't know how many games they play in high school football. I think it's like 12.
10 regular season. And then,
so are they guaranteeing them a 3-day turnaround, I'm assuming, at that point, if it's 72 hours?
If 72 hours to get the results or to get the test taken.
So I'm saying, are they
I would
promising them a
assume
3-day turnaround on results?
Yeah, I would assume that. And then
a lot can happen.
But again, to that point, you get the test on Monday. They guarantee you the results by Wednesday. Tuesday, you're out partying, make out with someone with COVID, and you have it, and then you go play Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. You don't know it.
That many players.
Huh?
Friday
and Saturday, yeah.
Friday and
sometimes Thursdays. But
Right.
yeah, you go out and you infect that many players.
But that's the thing that's crazy is like
Seems silly to me.
you can't monitor it. Like the NCAA right now are creating new divisions to make sure that they're keeping teams in a certain area, not like going across the country and shit. You're not doing that with high school.
Mm-mm.
We're not containing. We're going to send St. V all the way up to Ignatius. We're going to send Ignatius all the way down to Columbus. Like, yeah, it's within the state, but you're not monitoring these kids. They're going home to parents who God only knows what they're doing. They're probably working jobs that, involve them running into people all day, every single day.
Well, and then they also opened up daycares. This should be a let's get social topic, but either way.
Yeah, but like, it's just crazy to me because, and then the fact that they had cross country on there, not as a contact sport. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a cross country meet.
I have.
But you got about 150 kids out there that are all huddled together in one mass at the starting line, and they stay right together except for like the 4 kids that are actually fucking good at cross country that break away from the pack.
And what's the meet when they're handing the stick off to each other? Like when one person will run
That's track.
Pass it off. Yes.
All their relays and everything. And track meets, the vast majority of the 3.5 hours that you're spending there is in the bleachers because you're only allowed to do 4 events. And usually 2 to 3 of them that you run are similar events that are close to each other during the match. So you're just sitting there dicking around with your friends in the bleachers all day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I ran track for 4 years, and it is a COVID, like, pool.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
It's a COVID fantasy, basically.
Hey, fantasy.
And then you got bus rides to and from and all that other stuff. Like if we can't open classrooms, like I just got word that my school is going to be all online until like September 7th, I think is like just the starting point.
Oh,
so like a week.
It's like, I think it ends up being like 2 or 3, which whatever. I mean,
it's going to be
my
longer.
district is not handling it as well as some others, but
it's going to be longer.
I don't know if we're going to end up going.
Let's get to.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
And we got 2 sketchy presidents on our sound bites.
Yeah.
So you might not go at all now, you're saying? You know, I thought most of the schools were saying that they weren't going to, like the first semester was going to be all.
I just think it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
My original, because we placed bets.
Yeah.
And I said the over under for whether or not we start school or shut down school was October 28th, I believe is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already shut it down for at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And as soon as they open up and start, like, you start getting some major spikes, more so than even what we have.
Mm-hmm.
That shit ain't gonna last.
Well, the thing I don't understand is schools are closed, but they open daycares.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what? You can go hang out there all day with other kids, but you can't hang out in your classroom?
Kids never touching daycare.
No, absolutely not.
And now studies have come out showing that kids are now more susceptible,
I saw
like that they can pass it off easier than adults can.
Didn't this start out that kids couldn't get it?
Yeah, that was how it was. Dude, they're every day. And the constant excuse is that, well, it's science and science constantly evolves and all that. I'm like, well, yeah, but you guys don't know shit.
You know me.
We're not evolving our policies with the evolving science.
All of
That's the
us,
issue.
for the most
shit.
part, are not conspiracy theorists. But I understand how it could be so easy to be one under the current parameters of this virus, because it's a different thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Kids can't get it. Now they're most susceptible to it. Wear a mask. You shouldn't wear a mask. You're supposed to wear a mask. These people tell you not to. Like,
masks keep the virus inside of you and make it worse.
Right. Like, there's so much that you could freaking turn into this big ordeal over it. And it's just like the ever changing, like, you can't go to school, but you can play sports.
Yeah.
You can be in a room or on a team with all these kids, but I can't go in a classroom where it's going to be a lot more easy to keep us separated.
And the thing that I don't understand the
crazy.
most is, like, why are we pushing these sports and stuff when there's not even money to be made? Like, usually it's like, I would believe, like, oh yeah, it makes sense that a St. V would have sports because they're trying to drive the money for us, or Ohio State. It makes sense that the NCAA wants sports because they're going to drive.
Right.
But you're not going to have fans. You're not making any money. So why are we pushing all of this shit? Just cancel it.
They're probably hoping it for ad revenue because now everyone has to watch it on TV. So they're probably pushing,
But you're not watching high school sports on TV.
Well, no,
games,
but for like the college stuff, they're not. Like, they're probably hoping, okay, now we're gonna sell this rad revenue because 100% of the people have to watch it on TV.
Ratings,
right?
And now we're gonna see all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But high school, I think it's parents probably pushing it. They want their kids to have some sort of out.
Yeah.
But at what risk or what point?
Right.
I don't know. The whole thing just is crazy. Like, the COVID thing in general, I feel like to me, it just has from the very beginning come off as we have no idea what we're doing. So we're just going to say what we need to appease people and buy us time until the next thing. And then we figure something out.
Right.
Because it doesn't seem like there's been no consistency. I really don't think we have an answer. People are still getting it. Masks, not masks.
The mask is the funniest thing to me, just because like you see all these other things that we prepare for that have these big, huge suits, and we're getting these toxic, 3-piece thick suits like this, and then a mask contains the deadliest virus in history.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like the shutting down of bars. Like, I get it. People go out later, but all it means is people are going to go out earlier.
Yeah.
And like, it's a hard one to fight. I get the point.
COVID doesn't come out before
I
10.
do understand it, but
well, and even like when we went out to the bar, like, I ain't gonna throw anybody under the bus, but they said, like, well, we're gonna try and push our sales to 11.
Yeah.
And it's like
they did cut off. They did follow through pretty well with the like at 11 dump pour drink.
That's what you were telling me.
But they did sell past 10.
Yep.
I don't know if they still are. I don't know if it's because the first day.
Well, and they kept
they definitely did.
They kept the mask thing going. Like, you had to have a mask to get in, but once you got in there, everybody took their masks off.
Mm-hmm.
And like where we were, our seats were 6 feet away from everybody else. But like,
That's
if
the
you were
thing.
actually at the bar, there's nothing keeping you away from
again,
people.
no one's enforcing it. That's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they do have signs that say mask required, only not required when sitting, eating, or drinking. If you're going to the bathroom to wear it, if you're getting up to go to the bar and order food to wear it. But again, none of these 19, 20, 21-year-old
I was the only person there wearing
bartenders.
mine.
Oh, I had mine.
I know, but when I went up to the bar and everything like that, though, like,
yeah, I mean, I've been very good about wearing it, but none of these young kid bartenders, they're not enforcing put your mask on.
And it's tougher in that environment too, because you're mixing alcohol with hard asses.
Absolutely.
And if somebody says, you're not allowed to drink past this minute, a defier is going to say, well, fuck you.
Right.
So
It's a dangerous road
yeah.
in general. And I just think the COVID stuff as a whole, like, but what really are our choices? Like, we could have stayed shut down forever with really strict enforcement.
Yeah, I don't support that.
What
at
other
all.
option do you have?
Yeah, that's why I said I'm like, with our players with this tournament, I'm like, I'm willing to wear the mask, but
Absolutely.
I am not doing the shutdown thing.
So we were in a group text
Oh, here we go.
for his thing, and one of his guys, I don't know who he is, he goes,
Brad.
"Hey, are we do we have to wear our mask like while we play?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, here we go." And I was
Mhm.
like, "Well, I'm wearing mine because no offense, but I don't fucking know you guys."
Right.
Like, and then Tom got on there and he's like, "I ain't wearing no mask," but he was just like fucking around. Tom, yeah. But yeah, it's just like there's so many people that
I mean, me and Chris wore ours.
We had
The others didn't.
yeah, I'm wearing mine the whole time.
I wore mine the entire time.
And the thing that sucks is neither of you were protected.
Mhm.
You were protecting them, but they're not protecting you.
Mhm.
They cough on you and you're fucked.
Which is the silly thing. Whole silly thing about the masks.
You grab a beer. You want a beer?
Oh yes, please. I was actually going to
Beer?
see if you go over there and do it.
I'm good. But yeah, like the whole mask thing is the enforcement portion. Dude, the place we played at, the workers didn't have them on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's well, and the thing is, we asked them that morning. We said, so we're gonna have guys come in here. You know, they're gonna basically be playing all day. Do you want us to wear masks? We're all bringing them. Do you want them? And he goes, we're not enforcing it.
Yeah.
So I said,
Nobody is.
well, I mean,
I was going to wear mine regardless. I wear it
I
when
wore
I'm out.
mine.
I didn't know any of those people other than you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, to Jesse's point, like all I did was protect them.
Yep.
Like, fuck me.
Right.
I mean, according to science.
All it takes is a cop to run by there, and if I don't have my mask on or something, man, there you go.
I'm just like, look, if it's being enforced, I'm going to wear it. Like, that's what's being asked of me. I'm not that big of an asshole.
Mhm.
I didn't know they weren't enforcing it there. They had signs that said they were. I'm not going to be that guy that puts them in the position to now have to ask a grown-ass man, hey, can you put your mask on? Like,
There were 3 players of the 11 who didn't.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen have you seen like the viral sign from the guy who, I think it was like a deli or something like that, but it was like, you know, by law, if you have like asthma or some type of respiratory issue, you don't have to wear the mask. And based on HIPAA laws, I cannot legally ask you. So if you come in, I will assume.
Yep.
And it was just like a cop-out way to say, hey, come in without your mask.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I've looked into that. Not true.
HIPAA doesn't agree with.
Yeah.
The
HIPAA's for your fucking doctor. I can ask
doesn't.
you. Yeah, I can ask you anything I want about your health issues. You don't have to tell me, but I can refuse your service regardless.
That's just a business that business is going to gain or get some support, but then they're also going to lose people because of that. Because there's going to be the people that really believe in it who are concerned, who aren't going to go there and going to say, fuck you.
We have seen that circulating.
Yeah. But I've seen other places do that too.
My mom's church had a sign like that up, and she told me about it, and I was just like, well, they're idiots. I mean,
a big one was Fin Feather Fur.
They did the same thing?
Fin Feather Fur had something up that said pretty much verbatim that, you know, like you are required to wear a mask in here. If you don't wear one, we're going to assume you have a medical condition. We're not going to ask.
Was that nationwide? Because I went to a Fin Feather and Fur in Canton, and they had us at the door, temperature check and everything.
I don't know if it was local done, but it was. They definitely had posted something somewhere, and then one of the bar/restaurants that I frequent said that they liked it, and then they were going to copy it.
People are idiots.
I'm just like, okay,
know your rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, it just that's the issue with this isn't going to. He's got
it was your seat, bro.
I
don't usually sit in the leather.
This is going to continue for a while. You know, there's people saying they easily pre-prepared for this situation till into June of next year.
No way.
You know, like it's not going away anytime soon, basically, is what they're saying.
And we talked about Halloween and Christmas and stuff. Like,
a lot of places aren't doing it. Like, no Halloween weekends are happening. Universal Studios canceled it. Cedar Point isn't doing it.
People are staying home on Thanksgiving for Black Friday. I don't know if that's just like to give the employees Thanksgiving off.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they
actually
were
going to get rid of Black Friday.
They said they were closing on Thanksgiving, these places, and they said it was because they wanted to. The employees and everyone has already gone through enough that they deserved to spend that holiday at home.
I bet you that changes and that we don't get a Black Friday.
That's what I originally thought it was.
I think we're going to have to do everything Cyber Monday if you want to do it. There ain't going to be no Black Friday this year.
It's going to be detrimental.
My honest opinion on
detrimental. Third quarter or fourth quarter of the year is where businesses make 90% of their income.
Yeah. My honest opinion on the whole thing is basically that. So by January, we're going to have a vaccine. It's pretty
Hopefully.
much. It's pretty well. The third step is already going well in at least 3 of these cases.
Mm-hmm.
Moderna. There's a couple other weird names I can't think of off the bat. But so basically, we're going to have the vaccine. The problem that I see is that you're going to have the people, the naysayers, who say they're not going to take the vaccine. That's why stuff like this is always going to be around.
Right.
Do I think it's going to be the main case for the most of us who are fine with to take the vaccine and just get on with our lives? Do I think it's going to be a problem for us? No, not whatsoever. But it's going to be for those assholes.
Right.
And
Will you take the vaccine as soon as it comes out?
I have to.
I don't think I would.
How long would you wait until you felt comfortable?
My thing is,
because I'm not against taking the vaccine, but I don't know if I trust a vaccine that's been made in 6 months.
Typically a 2 to 3 year study. So to your point, taking it that quickly, it's a very rushed process they're throwing money at. I think that if you are higher risk, elderly or whatever, I mean, should be required to take it, or
that's why we're going to be first,
or I would take it. But like myself personally, I don't have concerns.
Wait and see if Chris gets webbed fingers, and then we'll take it.
Right. I just don't. Well, military is the one too. Apparently, they're required. Like anybody in the military will have to have it. Chris's job, they're going to require it.
Yep.
I don't know if I will right away though. It's to me like that's a big deal. I don't know what the side effects are going to be. I don't know what they're going to have to put out some really damning info or good info about how they tested and what happened before they forced me to do it.
Well, that's my thing. If they force me, I'm going to feel I'm a little iffy about that.
I heard it's not forced.
I doubt it will be because
and that's why it's always going to be around.
You're going to have mayhem if that happens. But then also like you said, it's not because it's a COVID virus. It's not because of a conspiracy worry. I'm not worried Bill Gates is chipping me or anything like some of these idiots.
I mean, any vaccine that's rushed like that.
Right.
I just am concerned of health implications. It's not. Yeah, I'm not worried that they're injecting me with a freaking like RFD chip or something like.
Yeah, that fits on the tip of a fucking needle and tracks me, even though I have a cell phone that does that already. But whatever.
Why I'm okay with it is because
you have to.
Well, that's the obvious. With every one of these vaccines, they go through 3 different classes of testing. They go through 1,000, 5,000, and 30,000 people, respectively, in each different phase. And in that, you would find out, how many side effects are there? Is there backlash to this at all? And if they're passing each one of these, which the first 2 have been passed already, they're in the third one, just started it last week.
Yeah.
So if this third one passes, that's good enough for me, honestly.
So what does the timetable look like that?
90 days for each one of those phases.
Okay. See,
so you have 270 days.
And my thing that I'm interested in is then how often does it take for a side effect to come from a faulty vaccine in the past?
Mm-hmm.
So like, is the turnaround on that any more than 270? If not, I would feel more comfortable doing it.
Right.
I don't know.
That's something that I need to look into.
From a fair question, I don't know if there is a limit to that because you could get a side effect when you're 90 years old. When you could get Alzheimer's. They still say that with what is it? Not cell phones, but some kind of technology thing.
Yeah.
I think they say you could get Alzheimer's from when you're 90 years old.
They always said for the longest time that like your cell phone is putting off microwave radiation.
And testicular cancer from it being in your
But we do that every day.
Right. Yep. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, it also depends on how bad it gets. If this number keeps climbing and people don't take it seriously and all of a sudden what are we at now death-wise? It was 150 a couple weeks ago.
Oh, overall for the United States?
Yeah.
It's over 1 million, isn't it?
United States is...
Infected, not dead.
Oh, infected? United States is
a lot.
I think 1.8 million or something like that.
How many dead though?
Oh, I think it's around 600,000, I believe.
Shit, that blew up then.
Yeah, something like that. I got it down here. But I know Ohio's had a good last 3 days. We've been in 900 cases, between 900 and 950 in the last 3 days. We're doing really well.
United States COVID deaths, 158,000.
Oh, is it?
4.8 million confirmed cases.
Okay.
So that's not too bad then. I mean, because it was 150 just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like a week and a half ago.
It says up 452 deaths.
I think I'm thinking worldwide.
Up 47,335 cases though. Daily change.
Yeah. So I guess my thing would be if we lose, I don't even want to put a number on it, but if we see this astronomical it's already a tragedy, but at least now, like, they're still saying, like, most of the people were terminally ill, blah, 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 blah. But if it gets to the point where it's so widespread that you do have a large amount of healthy people that are also dying, or if the permanent lung damage is starting to become more widespread, that's what I want to start seeing some stats on.
My thing is, though, if you look at this
I might
chart,
be more likely to take that vaccine.
we're on an upswing again.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, so this is weird.
Is that United States?
This is just United States. Okay. The first to the second was an 800 person difference, which is weird. The first was 1,207, and then on the second was 452.
A majority of
what a drastic difference between those 2 days alone. And then the 30th.
It was the weekend, though. You don't get a lot of that reporting on the weekend.
July 31st was 1,323 cases. July 30th, 1,231. And then like a huge dip in that one day. But I see that again. The 26th was 552. And the days before that were both over 1,000 the day before and after.
It's the same thing with like the 4th of July. We got like no cases, even though everybody was out.
Getting tested.
Nobody's getting tested.
In doing my daily kind of studies on this thing is those numbers are basically the reason why is because of three main states: California, Texas, and Florida are the big three right now. New York is down. They're remarkably down considering everything they've been through. Yeah. They're getting at about 600 cases a day right now.
There are some weird places though that have high rates. So where I work, we are required to do a 2-week quarantine if you travel to one of like 8 places.
Us too, yeah.
But like one of them was like Idaho.
Yeah.
One was Alabama, like Mississippi. Like no one even lives there.
It's because they have a 15%
or more higher
positive rate.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Which is just weird though. Like Idaho.
Well, those are all the people that don't believe.
Like 10 people and one person got it.
I mean, I don't know about Idaho, but Mississippi and Alabama, them red states. I ain't wearing none of them face diapers.
Yeah. See, I'm keeping my eye on North Carolina because in October I got to go down to North Carolina for a wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping my eye on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. South Carolina is on the list right now, but North Carolina is not.
Yeah. North Carolina, I think, is at 6%. It's not.
That's not bad
right now.
What's Ohio at percentage wise?
I saw the list. I can't remember. It's low right now for us because we have more people, so you'll have a smaller percentage. Now that's why Idaho, got it because there's 15 people that live there.
7 of them got it.
Yeah.
Oh man, the one guy with COVID. I'm gonna drive 5 miles down to the neighbor see if they got some sugar.
Right, dude.
And then with all the poisonous bugs, you got Jumanji level 15.
Oh my god. Thoughts and comments of Chris Kessinger do not reflect the Made to Motivate podcast in any way.
Sure they do.
Jeez. That's our COVID episode. COVID follow-up.
That's kind of our thing.
What else we got going on? We got
the big
Giselle
one.
Maxwell release.
Oh God.
We've got
Ghislaine
Maxwell stuff came out.
Just
Microsoft buying TikTok, mail-in
Let's talk about
voting.
Ghislaine. You got me saying Giselle now.
Giselle, isn't that it?
No, it's Ghislaine.
So Ghislaine, she must have did a plea bargain. She didn't hang herself.
Yeah.
Her files were released.
Too much light.
So
to a judge. We have not seen everything in the files.
Now, did she release files or someone already had them?
No, they went and got them.
Yeah, courts opened them up.
Her lawyer tried to block it.
Didn't she say she had a bunch of stuff too, like videotapes or something?
She got tons of shit.
Did that get released?
Nothing has been public yet. There's been a few things that were leaked. But as of right now, the judge has seen things. The lawyer has blocked a lot of it for I think we have a week and a half left or something, some type of legal action that she took, blocked it from being released for a little bit longer.
Right.
But the judge is going to see it all. And in her court case, we're going to see it all.
Is that dude under protective
He fucking better be. He's got some big balls to be doing this because she's talking about, what's his name? Prince Andrew.
See, he should have been anonymous. The judge should have been anonymous somehow.
I don't know how you can do that, though.
They keep him anonymous. They don't say the judge that's proceeding the case.
Blur him out on C-SPAN.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But you're putting him at risk.
But they came out, there was some Harvard professor who had originally said, I hope everything gets put out there because I'm innocent and it'll prove it.
And now he's on it.
And now there's pretty damning evidence against him on that. Bill Clinton was one that everybody's eating up.
They said he visited an island twice with 2 young girls or something.
Yeah. Not looking good for Bill.
So what is the evidence though? What is actually, what proof is in there that these people did something in the wrong?
Well, it's her word.
Right.
And what are the documents? That's what I'm saying. What do they have that's damning evidence against these people?
Well, the one girl came forward, right? the one rape victim or whatever.
Yeah.
One did, and then also Jesse was fighting
Lot-
with somebody over one that said nothing happened.
Well, so the original girl, I can't think of her name right now. I know who you're talking about. The main one, though, that has come out and been the forward speaking victim out of this. She was originally in all of the police documents as Jane Doe 102. So there are hundreds of girls
Jesus.
that have been part
Jane
of this.
Does
She
and-
wasn't the last one. She wasn't the first one. We don't know how many hundreds of girls were involved in this, but this crossed, 15, 20 years
Right.
of daily abuse. So there could be thousands of girls. We don't know.
Right.
The main one came out and they had an interview with her that people are circulating because a lot of people talk about Trump having relationship with Epstein. There's tons of photos of him. They were at parties together. He's got tons of quotes in newspapers about him. Like they were friends. She said that she had never seen Trump do anything wrong and that he never did anything to her. And that's fine. That doesn't mean that he didn't with any of the other girls.
Right.
Same thing with Bill Clinton. She didn't say anything about Bill Clinton. She
Right.
said that she saw him on the island once. She didn't say they saw him doing anything.
Right.
We just know that he was on the manifest and there were underage girls there. Doesn't prove anything. He probably did something too, though.
Right.
And I say burn them both. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care either.
My whole thing is that I find dangerous. Now, again, I'm not justifying any behavior.
Uh-huh.
But the thing I find dangerous is guilty by association.
Absolutely.
I find that very dangerous.
And this is
you're
and this is where you get into it is Epstein was a very wealthy man. He liked to have powerful friends,
Yep.
celebrities, politicians, whatever. Do I think that everybody he was associated with was going over to his place and banging little girls? No, I don't.
Mm-mm.
Do I think that there were enough though? Yeah. Do I think
I'm sure
do I
it's
think
happening.
do I think Prince
Absolutely.
Andrew did it? Hell yeah, I do.
I don't know.
Do I think that Harvard professor guy did it? Hell yeah.
What about
I
the
do.
attorney? Like, what was his name? You said you posted on your post the other day. The attorney for
Oh, that was the Harvard guy.
Oh,
So
was
he's
it?
he's
Okay.
also a defense lawyer.
Okay. Well, he was on there, man, and he was.
Mhm.
You could see the sweat rolling off his head.
It's just
man.
scary to me, like, because we've talked about this before with like rape and like statute of limitation and stuff, and like these people are damned. At this point, their life is damned. They could come out that they didn't do anything,
Sure.
and it's tarnished. And you got Tom Hanks supposedly on this
This is
list,
such bullshit.
and I'm like, look, maybe Tom Hanks is a great fucking actor and a cover up, and I would never think him to be a skis ball like that.
Sure.
But at this point,
I mean, you never would have thought
People
Bill Cosby
are
was.
up in arms over Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're Tom Hanks and you're innocent and you know to your deathbed you did not do any of this and you have the world at your throat
Yeah.
saying you were fucking raping little kids? Like, what the fuck?
I think a lot of that goes away though once this trial comes to light and you do start getting guys like Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew,
Mhm.
Kevin Spacey, some of these other people that were lesser known that now have come to light. You get 5, 6, 7, 8, a dozen of these people. Maybe it comes out that it was only 10 guys or even 5 guys, or maybe it's just the 4 that we know of in these leaks and that's what it is.
Right.
Once you get that, I think nobody's going to really think about Tom Hanks
I
because you have
just-
all this evidence about everybody else. Why would you not have evidence about
Mhm.
him?
Yeah, I think it's like, so the bigger the power player, the more intrigue it gets from the public eye.
Right.
Yeah. That's just where it worries me. Just watching people talk about it is like, well, he was there. How did he not know? All these other people, these other 7, 8, 9 guys did it, and he was there with them. How could he not know something was happening? Like,
Sure.
that's just crazy to me.
Dude.
Like, but again, like, and I think we not joked about it, but we said, like, if I'm a celebrity and I get invited to go to some private island and like party and kick it with my peers, I'm probably going.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I know that they're freaking molesting kids.
See, here's my thing. Like, so, and I was going to go that with my next sentence here. Like, if I'm Bill Clinton, okay, and whether I'm the president or post-president, doesn't matter.
Right.
And I see, like, I come to this party and I start seeing like little girls here or questionable girls here and there. Dude, I am out of there. The second I see that shit.
Do we know,
I'm
like, were
gone.
they just out and about, like walking around partying, or like was this something that was like the parties and stuff were kind of a cover up and they were doing their thing off to the side and it was an alibi
behind
type
closed
thing?
doors? You mean?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
of right now, all that we know. So
Yeah,
like,
because I agree with you.
Mhm.
If I'm there and it's me and my adult peers and there's young girls running around, okay, I'm questioning that as well.
yeah.
But what I'm wondering is this going on? These big parties are kind of alibi cover ups. Oh, we were all there partying together. I wasn't raping little
Right.
kids. Like,
Mhm.
At
and
this
it was
point,
going on in a dungeon in an island basement or something.
For sure.
it wasn't done in dungeons. We know how it was done.
I know.
But like, so at this point, what we have is we don't have any proof about anybody technically.
Right.
We don't have any proof of Bill Clinton. We don't have any proof of Trump. We've got some damning stuff that doesn't look good, but we don't have any proof yet. She says she has tapes that are going to bring people down. She says she kept documents. She said that she has all of this stuff. Ghislaine,
whatever.
That'd be so good, man.
That's the thing. Like, if they have that and you're on it,
this court case is going to be
You're fucked.
Knock them, man.
Yeah, you're fucked. Whatever.
But to me,
It's your own fault.
and this is just me looking at it because I'm not a conspiracy person, but evidence is evidence.
Absolutely. If
You
there's
got
evidence,
people like there's nothing on Tom Hanks. That's all conspiracy stuff to this point.
Yes.
Maybe it comes out. Maybe I'm wrong. But
he's
as
a
of right
Greece
now, there's
citizen
nothing.
now, Jesse.
I know, whatever. Fuck it. But you look at guys like Bill Clinton, for instance.
Yeah.
He was on the plane. He went to the island. We know that there were young girls there. We know those three things. It doesn't mean he did anything. Maybe Bill did go there and he said, "Hey, man, I'm not down with this," and he left.
Is there manifest showing the young girls were there?
Yes.
Okay, so there's evidence of that.
There's
It's not just
evidence that he
hearsay.
was, or it's the manifest shows that he was on the plane, and there are witness testimonies saying from the girls saying that he was there. So we know the girls were there.
But what evidence do we have that the girls were actually there? Is what I'm asking.
The girls are the ones that say they saw him. So the
But do we
girls
have
were there.
Proof that they were there, and they're not just saying I was there. Is what I'm asking. What evidence? do
We
we
know
have
that they were involved with
there?
Epstein and had gone through
Okay.
those things. So why lie about Bill Clinton?
My thing is,
I guess.
I would never
Yeah.
try to compare my mind to a creep's mind, but like, look, if I'm Bill Clinton, I got too much to lose, dude. And the second I see these young, questionable girls, I'm like, I'm the fuck out of here, man. This could be the end of my reputation as we know it. I am gone.
People of power like that, though, they think you can't get me.
That they're on top of it.
I got all the money.
I'm
in
on
the
a private
world.
plane. I'm on a private island.
That's
I'm a former
narcissistic,
president.
because I agree with you, but we're level-headed, normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
These people are narcissistic, where they think, I'll just pay her off. She's not going to say anything. Like, they're fucking dumb because they think they're above you and they can do what they want and they're not going to get caught.
Right.
Because I would think the same thing. And even like Tom Hanks' point, like, I'm sure he's probably innocent. But like, if I'm Tom Hanks, I ain't risking it.
Right.
Everybody knows me. I'm not fucking putting myself out there.
Complete side note, a couple years back, I went to a party where I saw heroin and I got the fuck out of there
Yeah.
just because of that.
For sure.
Like, I don't want to be anywhere involved with that.
I
Like, my
agree.
job finds out about that shit, dude, and they're testing me and they're going to watch me 24 hours a day. Not happening.
Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely.
But a lot of these bigger guys that we have seen accusations against, now we are seeing more evidence come out against them, like Prince Andrew.
What's up with Prince Andrew?
There was a photo of him with Ghislaine Maxwell and one of the girls, the main girl, I can't remember her name. She claims that he raped her. And it's been shot down for years and years and years. She said that she got threats and all this other stuff. And now that she's come out and said that, now there's documentation that he was involved in some form or fashion. Harvey Weinstein is another one that's been on all of that
that's a
stuff. We found
shocker.
out that he's a sleaze. Trump, we know, has had accusations against him. There was a girl that said that he tied her down and raped her with Epstein. And there's another witness that came from that. So I think that, I mean, when this case comes out and all of this stuff, you know,
be crazy,
tapes and documents.
I hope this shit gets leaked, man.
I do too.
Oh, I hope
Well,
so. It's so bad.
the court case will be
like
public.
that R. Kelly documentary, man. They released those tapes and stuff.
Oh,
Did you ever
and
watch that?
The court case won't be
That's
private.
a crazy documentary, man.
Court cases are public.
Oh, really? It's gonna be- it's
that
gonna be
stuff will
televised.
all be out. This will be the biggest. I mean, think about like the huge
It's gonna be like an
court
O.J.
cases.
Simpson, Nicole Kidman.
O.J. Simpson was the big
Yeah.
one,
Mhm.
and then Casey Anthony was probably the next big one. Trayvon Martin was a big one. This is going to trump everything.
The amount
power
of
players.
people, the amount of people that are potentially involved.
I say get them all, man.
I do too.
Yeah,
Fuck
if you're
'em all,
guilty,
dude.
bring them down,
Yep.
man.
And that's my
If
thing.
you're
is, like,
guilty, I'm all for it.
Mhm.
I just it's just crazy to think about the people, like, because these conspiracy theorist people, and we see how quickly this stuff blows up.
Yep.
People just saying, "Oh, well, they were there; they're guilty." Like, I would just hate to have been associated with any of these people if this evidence comes out and you're fucked.
And you
man.
raised a good point, though, as far as that guilt by association. Like that is an interesting point, because what if, you know, you're not at that party, but you just knew, what's his name? Epstein.
Yep.
You know, do you get looked at in the same manner as other people? I think
People-
that is a slippery slope.
People have it out right now that you had to have known. Like, how could you have not have known?
Yeah.
Well, and there were a lot of people who came out and said, like, the dude seemed normal. And that's what you get with a lot of stuff like that. Like,
Absolutely. They hide it well.
I knew a cop. I mean, we've talked about this
Mhm.
before. I knew a cop that was forcing underage girls to have sex with him
Yep.
under threat of
You would
arrest.
never know.
And he's in federal prison now.
Yep.
You never would have known. He was super cool. You just wouldn't expect it. You're shooting the shit on Friday night at the movie theater, and he's doing that, right afterwards.
Dude,
you don't
there's
know.
these people that are freaking serial killers and you would never know.
And yeah. Jeffrey Dahmer, people say he was
Normal dude.
charismatic. I thought he was charming. Like
That's who
people-
Bundy was.
Ted Bundy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Bundy was the most charismatic killer there
People
was.
love that guy.
Yeah.
These
So-
people hide it well.
It's just like people aren't always, they don't appear to be the monsters that
Absolutely.
they are.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's what makes them monsters.
Yep.
The way that these people get away with this, Epstein was not your crackhead rapist breaking in through windows.
Right.
I mean,
Successful.
this was a successful,
Yep.
charismatic, relatively handsome dude,
Yep.
well known. I mean, those types of people don't fly under the radar
right.
for no reason.
Right.
They blend with society. These are the people that are the real, fears.
Yeah,
These are the
absolutely.
ones. These are the boogeymen that you worry about your children seeing.
Yep.
It's not the guy that's going to break in your window. You can move to a new neighborhood for that. You can
Right.
avoid that.
Yeah.
It's
This
not
dude
the
you would
random
never
shootings.
know, man.
It's the people that hide in plain sight. And it
Fuck.
doesn't mean just because you know them that you're the same way. People get duped all the time.
Dude.
But when this evidence comes out, I hope those people burn.
It just
Oh
needs
my
to
God.
happen, man.
Dude,
Like, it just needs to be out.
I'm
I'm ready.
I get on my knees. I don't pray. I will pray that this shit comes out. Man, I will pray.
I hope she's not bullshitting, and I hope she's got what she says she's got, and she's gonna come out clean with
Oh
it.
my
And then she's
God.
gonna have to go into protective custody. Like,
even cut her a deal,
Witness
dude, just to
protection.
get this shit out.
oh yeah, I'm sure they will.
Nope.
They're gonna have to hire her.
Dude, I would. If it busts these other motherfuckers, dude, cut
Oh
her
yeah,
a deal.
they're gonna cut a deal with her. She's definitely gonna get a plea deal.
I don't agree with that at all.
I'm not saying I agree, but it's gonna happen. They might give her life without death sentence or something.
You
but-
can't give her the death sentence because she didn't kill anybody. It doesn't matter. She could have raped every single one of those 1,000 girls, and you can't give her the death sentence.
Yeah.
I say that woman needs to rot in jail, put her in a fucking 4x4 cell. I don't give a shit. You can legally get all of that information. You can, I don't know what the legal terms are. You can get a warrant or whatever. But I don't care how many people you bring down. That woman was the right-hand man. And
Oh, totally.
and all of
Yeah,
that.
she
We
could've
just
been.
need other people busted for this shit too. We can't let
For sure.
anyone get away with this.
For
I
sure.
think people like that, like, and obviously it's not realistic, but like the 3 kids that were murdered camping or
Yeah.
fishing,
For sure.
family gets first shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You need to fucking lock the dude in a room with his dad or
For
whatever,
real.
and they fucking deserve it. If I was a parent of one of these kids that got raped and I'm in that courtroom, I'm going to jail because I'm bringing a gun and I'm shooting you.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no trial.
That's one thing that I do believe.
You
I mean,
ain't.
I believe in capital punishment. I mean, if you murder somebody in my family, you murder a friend of mine,
I'm
like
fucking your day
if
up.
one of you guys got murdered, I'd call for that person to be killed.
Mhm.
And I don't think that it should take 15 years to get it done. I know we have appeals processes and shit like that, and some people get found innocent, and I'm fine with that. But I mean, I'm all for like
You
the way that they do
blatantly kill
lethal
someone, man.
injection, the way that it all is so expensive to house them and then even to kill them.
Crazy.
Bullets are 25 cents a piece.
That's right.
I mean, those old days, they lined people up in the streets and gunned them down right there. The public hangings and stuff like that. That was to show people, hey, maybe you shouldn't fucking rape little girls, and
Yeah.
this will happen to you if you do that.
Yeah, dude. I just don't
We
know.
put somebody to death like once every 10 years in this country now
Yeah.
for the most horrific
Yeah.
crimes.
I was just thinking about it randomly because there was that shooting in Akron that just happened.
Oh, last night?
And
Yeah,
I was
that one's
literally
bad.
like driving and I was thinking to myself, like, and it's not even close to the same, but like if I was upstairs in bed, someone drove by my house and shot into my house and like shot and killed Grayson, which is my dog, and it's not even on the same level, I would want to murder them.
Yeah.
I would go to that court hearing and I would fucking want to destroy them.
Yep.
The emotional turmoil and stuff that you go through when something like that happens, when someone takes a life,
And that's a
it's
dog.
far different than you got in a car accident and you died or something.
Right.
Like you took that person's life. I'm ending you.
That shootout was like about a mile from my house. And on a side note, two summers
fucked up, man.
2 summers ago, our next door neighbors got shot at because they started something with the garage, an auto garage that was right next door to them.
Yep.
Certain choice words were muttered back and forth between them, and they went and called some of their friends. They came by and fired bullets right into their houses.
What a coward to drive by and to shoot into someone's house.
Yeah.
And you
That's how
kill like a
everything's done
1-year-old, kill some 1-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fucked. Those parents deserve to fuck that person up.
Yeah. All they saw was a black Dodge Ram that I know.
We didn't
Destroy you, man.
I didn't even tell you guys this, but
So
about
awful.
a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, one of my former students was murdered.
Jesus, man.
And he,
How old?
he was 20 at this point. Decent enough kid, wasn't like a gangbanger. I mean, grew up in a crappy neighborhood and
Right.
knew a bunch of crappy people. Still don't know exactly what happened, but like, it's an everyday thing now.
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know how you stop it, but I don't know. Shit sucks.
It's just awful, man. I just don't know. Like, I don't know how you are. Like, how do you get to that point? Like, what is wrong with you that you feel that that's okay
Yeah.
to take another person's life, to shoot someone and kill them? Like, people don't understand. Like, people understand it, but like, when you really sit back and think about it, it's so just like a mind fuck to know like that person's not coming back. Like, they are gone. You killed them. There's no waking up. They're gone.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. That's fucked.
There's a lack of, I don't know if it's a respect for life, but it's just, I don't know if it's just a lack of
value,
understanding.
a lack of value for life.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if it's even thought of in that way. If it's, they just don't think of the ramifications. They don't think of the finality of it. But
it's permanent, man.
I mean, I've been teaching for, this will be my 7th or 8th year. I don't even know. I think it's my 7th year. And I've gone through 5 shootings, I think.
It's crazy, man.
And those are just fucking successful ones. Like, we had a kid shoot up our bus stop across the street, drove up knowing the kid was leaving from school, shot him. Luckily, he shot him like right in the back, and the guy ended up being fine. But you just don't think. They just don't have any idea, like, for what. And it's always over something trivial. It's always over, money. And it's not even a lot of money. Like, at least, like, movies and stuff, you can justify it. It's $5 million. It's some type of life-changing money. It's always over, like, $500.
It's all, to these people, though, it's all image. It's like, oh, you ain't going to disrespect me like that.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like, they don't.
It's,
but they have, like, to Chris's point, like, they have no value. They hold no value. They don't care. They got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
They don't think anything of that. Like, how finite it is. Like, that.
Well, it's not their
It's
life.
just sickening. It's disgusting. Like, I just think about that, and I'm just like,
I know a lot of
it can happen
kids
to anyone.
like,
You're not, there's nothing.
we used to fight, Like, I wasn't much of a
Yeah.
fighter, but like, these kids' first thought is,
I'm gonna shoot you.
I've heard they scream it in the hallways or something. If they get into a big thing, I'll fucking kill you. I'll bring my boy back here. I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And I've pulled kids aside like
Over a fucking
10
argument.
times, and I'm like, you're gonna fucking kill somebody over, and it's something. I mean,
Yeah.
Petty.
So petty though.
Yeah.
Like, it's you would be blown away.
But they would do it.
But they have. They bring
They would
people
do
back up. We
Awful.
came back from a field trip one year where none of us knew this. It's our end of the year trip. It's supposed to be fun. We bring tons of people together. We take like 20 or 30 kids, the kids that we can basically trust to act right on a field trip. And we go up to Fun and Stuff. Drive all the way up to Fun and Stuff.
Yeah, boy.
What is that, Macedonia or whatever?
Macedonia.
Yeah, drive up to Macedonia. It's like a 45-minute drive for us. Take everybody on the bus. We go up there. Last year, we're coming back, and these middle school kids are getting in an argument with one of my kids in the front of the bus. I don't even know this. I sit in the back of the bus because I want to be able to
See everything
going on and hold it down.
Nobody behind you.
And so we go pulling up to the school, and we come off the highway, and I see a cop car. I don't really think anything of it because my school's not in the best area. So whatever, cop cars are pretty prevalent.
Right.
We pull up again. I see another one parked across the street. And then we see another one parked on the corner. And now I'm like legitimately
going on.
worried. Like, I think there was a shooting. Something happened in the school. We never have that many cop cars there. We turn the corner, there's like 3 more. So now I'm like, I go over to, one of my coworkers, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck is going on? Like, did something happen at the school? They get on the phone, and the person in the office was not the most professional about it. Like, she could have easily told us what was going on, but she was like, you just need to get off the bus and, talk to the police or something. So now I'm thinking like somebody's definitely dead or something. We get off. Turns out one of the teachers in the front, who also was not professional, heard one of my students tell them, I'm going to get so-and-so to come in here and they'll shoot you in the head. So they called the cops because they thought it was a legitimate threat. Instead of talking to them, talking it down, and handling it ourselves, they did that. And we had a million cops up at the place. But it's just like, that's the world that we live in, though, sometimes, where you got to have a whole entire police force coming down to a school because of a threat, because
you don't know the difference between a joke and a threat.
But you don't know at that point, because
and you don't sometimes, and that's what's crazy. I mean, that's what's crazy is an argument at fucking Fun and Stuff could lead to somebody being dead. I mean, I don't know where that turn came from, because like, I feel like we grew up in the gangster rap era of like,
gangbang,
kill that fucking person for whatever, get your respect, blah blah blah. Like, that was, I mean, I don't know.
The idea of killing someone over argument doesn't even cross my mind. Like, ever.
Yeah.
I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, I've wanted to beat the shit out of people, and I have before.
But I never say I'm going to come here. I'm going to come back and kill you.
Yeah, I've had kids say, "I'm not getting my ass beat. I'll just shoot them."
Right.
And it's just like, are you?
You
don't fucking.
They will
connect the dots.
They have nothing. Like, it's got to be that they have nothing going on that they care to lose.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm going to go to jail. Whatever. It can't be any worse than what I go through every day.
It's not that it can't be any worse. I have kids that think it's a vacation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because jail is better than what they come from.
That's what I mean.
They got 3 meals.
Yep. House over their head. They got no responsibilities.
Yep. They get to go outside and hoop every once in a while.
Yep.
My kids come from a shitty fucking background.
I get that, but to me, it's always freedom versus everything.
That's what I try to preach to them. But sometimes, like, I've been shocked. Like, I've literally had realization moments where I'm like, holy shit, like, I have been totally wrong about this the entire time because I just didn't have perspective.
Yeah, that's the
because
thing. Our
freedom,
perspective is so much different.
Freedom doesn't mean anything, because freedom to us makes sense, because even when we were poor, we had some outlet, whatever that was. I was dirt poor, working at the fucking movie theater, but I had a home to go to where I had parents that gave a shit about me, at least. I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, but like, we went on vacation once a year. It was nice. I had parents that cared.
Yeah.
I got kids that haven't seen their parents in a week because mom works 3rd shift whenever they get home from work and dad's not around, and, they're just running around. They have no fucking food.
They grew up Browns fans. They have nothing to live for.
They don't watch sports. They don't watch sports. That's the other thing. Like, no, but like, that's something else that blew me away, was they don't watch anything like that.
I know.
Because they don't have the capability.
Yep.
They'll tell me, oh yeah, I'm a Patriots fan, because they heard that they won the Super Bowl.
Right.
But they don't know anything about that team.
That's sad.
They'll tell me that they're a LeBron fan. Okay. But some of them didn't even know he went to the Lakers.
Right.
And it's just like,
it's sad.
This is something that isn't just happening in Canton.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I just think that
you define it as a disconnect.
I define it as, I think that it's a major poverty problem. I think that poverty leads to crime. I think
agree.
that it's very hard to come from a very poor background and not turn to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I honestly think that it's a miracle if you do.
It's like, and how do you fix that? That's the hard part. Because it's like, you get active in your community and you try and give back and you raise money, and school can play a big part of that. But even as like a guidance counselor or a teacher, they got to show up. You got to, I mean, how much effort can you put forth? Like, what do you do to redirect that?
I don't know.
Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some sort of solution to it. But what is that?
From an outside source, I don't know if there is a solution. From an inside source, I think that kid has to find something that inspires him to do better, to drive himself, to find something that, he can either make a living at or something that just makes him happy.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're in that, that's your day in, day out, like you need something to push, to redirect that energy.
Yeah.
You know, whether that be a teacher you connect with or something, like there's got to be some kind of positive movement to get you out of that rut. Because I mean, I agree, like they need that inspiration, but if they know no different, they don't got TV and there's nothing they know to inspire them. All they know is going to school and going home and having no parent or older brothers or siblings to talk about gangbanging and stuff. And that's all they know. Like it's just that continuous vicious cycle.
I think that a big part of it, I honestly think it breaks down to two things. Relationships is a huge thing. That's like our main focus at my school.
Yeah.
Kids come in at like a 3rd grade reading level. You're not going to get them to a 12th grade reading level before they leave.
Yep.
They're not going to be high school graduate level of intelligence by the time they leave, for the most part. I don't want to say I've given up on that. I still teach academics, obviously, but that's not my main focus. I try to make better citizens.
Right.
But the second thing is financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
Kids
That's a big one.
have no concept. Kids from the ghetto have no concept of what money is.
Even not just kids from the ghetto, kids in general.
But like I have kids that like, I always ask them, they'll be like, man, they think I'm rich because I got a new car and whatever. And they're always like, oh man, I bet you got a ton of money. And I'll go, okay, well, how much money do you think is like a ton of money? How much money do you think you need in a year to have a ton of money? And they'll be like, man, like
$1,000,
12,000.
Jesus, man.
And it's like, dude, that you make that at McDonald's, you probably make more than that at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, okay, so what's a lot of money? And I'm like, well, the average person makes between 35 and 50,000.
Yeah.
Damn, that's great. Like their mind is blown by that, but they don't realize what little that can even get you.
Yep.
You know, $35,000 is barely scraping by if you're paying rent.
It's not that impressive.
Yeah.
And so, like, I tell them, I'm like, all right, well, like, because before COVID hit, we tried to do that program last year where I was trying to get them, you know, getting a job so they could see, like, hey, you're going to get a paycheck that gets you a couple $100, and that's going to happen every single week.
Right.
And then tell them, you know, this is what you can do from here. My nephew, he graduated from high school, didn't go to college. He's trying to, you know, make something for himself. He's doing a lot of landscaping stuff right now. He's got a couple of people who's making good money.
Yep.
I just messaged him today and I was like, hey man, have you heard of this like mow to own Akron program?
Yeah, it's dope.
I was like, if you mow these empty lots for 6 months, you get to own the lot. I go, some of these, you know, land is valuable.
Yeah.
I was like, some of these are
It's an investment.
lots. They're $10,000, $15,000 worth of land. Yeah. And he instantly was like, hell yeah. How do I sign up? And I was like, oh, I think they're full now, but if you call down there, maybe they have some that they haven't taken yet, or maybe you can get on next year's. But he was on it.
Yeah.
And I told him, he was like, all right, so, you know, what do you think that I should do? Like, Jesse, what should I do with my money? Because, you know, I'm not rich, but I'm good with my money.
Right.
I told him, I'm like, hey, mow some lawns. And as soon as you save up your money, you don't have to pay any bills right now. Pay your bills, save your money, and get a big ass lawnmower.
Yeah.
And he's bought himself a truck. He's bought himself a riding lawnmower.
Yeah.
He's, you know, expanding out. Like he's going to look into the thing, try and get some properties.
Yeah.
Like he's doing well for himself. And that's what I try to express to my students is like, you don't have to go to college.
Right.
They can't.
But that's a driving force though.
But
that's what I'm
saying. But to know that they can create something, and it doesn't matter what it is. You can mow fucking lawns.
Yeah.
It doesn't got to be that you are going to be an NBA star. Like that's the first thing that I always shoot down. And like people are like, oh, you're a dream killer and like this and that. But I'm like, dude, I'm like,
realistic.
Kids that are going to the NBA are being scouted when they're 11.
Yeah.
Are people scouting you? Well, no, not yet, but they will. Okay, how are you going to do that? Because you're at Compton and you're not allowed to play sports because you got kicked out of school. So how are you going to get scouted?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go back next year. McKinley's not taking you back.
Yeah.
They don't want you. I'm sorry. It's wrong. I don't agree with it, but they're not going to take you back. So you're going to be here. Yeah. What are you going to do?
The odds are slim anyway. Even a great college athlete, you would always say have a fallback option.
I tell them that all. I mean, we play one-on-one, and I'm awful at basketball. Yeah. I'm not good. I can play defense.
Oh, now he wants to bark up someone else's tree. That's interesting.
But I'm better than them.
Yeah.
And when I lock them up, I go, okay, you can't beat me. You're not good enough for the NBA.
Right.
What are you going to do? And they respect that.
It's not a dream killer, but you have to be realistic with them.
Absolutely.
You have to set that real tone to set them up for success. And look, hell, they do good for themselves and they miraculously get drafted. Cool, but You can't lead with that.
No.
It's not. It can't be your goal.
We do an article every single year. It was from a book called Freakonomics or something like that, and it's called "Why Do Drug Dealers Still Live with Their Moms?" And it's about this guy who.
What's this about?
it's about this guy in the 80s who went to some Ivy League school, but he was supposed to go out and do he was like a census taker or something. He was supposed to go to Chicago in the 80s during like the crack epidemic. He was supposed to ask these questions, and he ends up running into a group of GDs, gangster disciples, who were like one of the biggest crack dealing like gangs in Chicago, and somehow ends up befriending them and basically stayed with them for like 2 years and just studied them. He talked to like their leader and was like, "Hey, I won't rat you out. I won't ever say anything. Let me take data." And he went through all their books. Like right before one of these guys got killed for bringing on an indictment, he gave them all of his books. He goes through it all, breaks it all down money by money. And like the head guys are making 250 to 500 G's.
Damn.
But like the vast
Crazy,
majority,
man.
like thousands of people involved that are just like the street guys, they're making $3 an hour when you finally break it down to what they're doing. Because they're scoring, $1,000,
Right, but they're paying it
but
all
they had
out.
to stand out for, 18 hours or something, 5 days to make that money.
Yeah.
And then they had to give like 400 or 500 of that to the upper officers. And it's like, so we read that every single year and they're always like, "Man, fuck that. I made $500 or something just last week." And I'm like, "Okay, when's the last time you made $500?
Yeah.
They're like, "I don't know, like last month." And I'm like, "Okay, so you made $500 a month."
Right.
Or you made like $125 a week.
Right.
I go, "That ain't shit."
Right.
So you're broke.
Yeah. You ain't paying for an apartment for that.
Right.
You ain't getting a
I'm
car
like,
and paying for
you can
food.
barely afford Jordans with that.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't know.
It's true though. They think that gangbang life or like drug dealing, you're going to make all this money because shows make people think that.
Right.
No, you ain't doing that.
And
You're
it's
putting your life at risk.
And it's not necessarily
Jail,
their fault.
murder,
It's just ignorance. They don't know any better because they don't have anybody in their life to teach them any better.
Yep.
And that's where like your community and stuff comes into play. Is like, okay, so these kids don't have parents that are able to lead them in that direction. They don't have an older sibling that can lead them in that direction.
Yep.
You've got teachers, okay, but people don't take teachers seriously a lot of the time because that's your teacher. Like they're supposed to tell you this stuff. I'm not going to listen to them. There's no life
the hard
experience
part.
there.
Yep.
But you need people from your community to be able to come out from the local, whatever, community center or church or just fucking dude in the neighborhood
Right.
that has it together and teach these kids, hey, no, this is what you got to do if you want to be successful in life and turn that all around.
It's got to be more people that came from the same position willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because coming from white boy Jesse.
Actually, they think that I'm gangster because I'm from Akron, so I can get through to them.
I say you
I just play that card.
You have a good reputation there, but under the most basic circumstances, If I tried and go have like a real conversation with these kids, I'm like,
"Who's this bearded, tattooed dude?" Like
he doesn't know anything. It's got to be people that lived it, that were in that broken family, who had nothing, who were dirt poor, who are willing to come out and show, look, this is what I did. I got away from that.
Right.
This is the success I've made of myself. And I don't think there's enough of that in the community. And that's like programs and stuff like that need to be implemented. It comes from funding and people willing to volunteer and stuff like that. But that's the only way that you're going to make a change in this.
I think that's why it's always good to have the success stories come back to the, those neighborhoods too, and to kind of show them that there is a way out of this kind of thing.
Yep. So that's almost something like a school could kind of implement as like a, maybe reaching out to past students that we know have broken it. And having them come in and speak to the class or something, because it's got to end. It's been a never-ending cycle for a long time, far too long. Poverty plays a huge part in it.
Sure.
The broken families is a huge part of it. But
the only way that you break those cycles is with some form of education. Doesn't necessarily have to be higher education.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've got to be able to know, you know what, I can make a living cutting hair.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be some big elaborate thing. Yeah.
But our school's pushing
LaBelle's barbershop. I mean, he's doing very well for himself and he's cutting hair at the end of the day.
To that point, our school's willing to push that agenda.
Absolutely not. And that's why you need that community to come in.
Problem,
you need that
aren't
local barbershop. Yeah.
Schools want you to graduate and go to college.
Yep.
It's true.
We've cut funding for, trade schools. We've been trying to get trade schools in my building since I've been there, probably before I got there.
Yep.
And we've been making a little bit of headway. The guy that's in charge right now, my principal, he's awesome. He realizes this.
But even to that point,
But it's hard.
you've got the poor high school, basically essential dropout who says, I want to go and be a barber. Where are they going to get the money to do it? You still have to pay to go.
We have a,
it's 1,800 hours or something crazy.
yeah,
It's like a year and a half,
That's what I heard.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you got to pay for it.
yeah. We have a great program at my school called Project Rebuild, where you get to go. They pay you to go above minimum wage. I think they make like $9.50 or $10 an hour or something like that, which is awesome for high school. And then you get drug tested as you go. You can't be pissing dirty. But the great thing about it is they'll still allow you to work even though you're peeing dirty, but they will just hold your checks as a savings account. So as soon as you pee clean, if you've got $500 on back order, you get all of that money. You earn tools as you go along with your pay. And if you complete the system, or if you complete the program, you end up with $200 worth of tools. You end up with all of the money that you've gotten during your working. You learn carpentry, construction, and all of these other things. And then they set you up with a job with a construction company in the area.
That's a bet.
That's dope. You guys do that?
We do that right now. And we're trying to get more and more stuff. We're trying to get in school, trade school, but we don't have anything.
How does that
site.
work? Like, how do they get into that?
They just sign up.
Like, if they go to your school, they're going to say, I want to do that?
Yep. They come down every year. They
doing
ask
it?
us. Yeah.
Like, our kids doing it?
We probably have like 10 kids or so that do it. Which isn't great.
No.
I mean, we want to get more, but
what's the opposition from the others?
It's just, it's too hard. Kids are lazy. They've never worked before and they think that they're going to make easy money. They're living at home. I mean, a lot of my kids, they play the gangster card, but they don't actually go out and sell. They don't do anything. They're just lazy. They stay at home. They play the game. They don't really know anything better. They don't even go to the park and play ball. And
that's, I wish we lived in the era more so like when I grew up or even before that, where it was like, you didn't have a choice.
Right.
Like, these kids need to be forced to go.
Yeah. That was kind of my thing too. It was
like they need to
inspired
go.
you. Yeah.
Like, because it is so easy to be lazy.
Yeah.
And you can hand it to them and say, hey, look here, this is your future.
Right.
But it's like, sometimes you just got to you got to force that hand to show them.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do it. There's not a choice. You're going to go home and do nothing. We can't do that now. We live in a society nowadays where we're soft. We baby everybody.
Yeah.
There's no like if this was back in the day, I feel like this, you're doing it. Like, this is part of your education. This is the program you're doing.
Well, that used to be the thing was, back in the day, hey man, you're failing all your classes. Your ass needs to pick a trade. So do you want to do automotive or do you want to do HVAC? Because you're not going to graduate if you don't do that. And we don't have those options anymore. It's all
this is a great program.
Absolutely. The thing that sucks is that doesn't help you graduate at all.
Who cares? I mean, it sucks, but
the state does, though.
I get that, but for your guys' school,
construction companies aren't going to hire on somebody that doesn't have a high school diploma anymore. Even if you have all the skills.
Like with this program that you're doing,
a lot of times you still need your high school diploma in order to get those jobs. The problem is,
so when do they do that work stuff? That's like an after-school thing.
Yeah, so we have half days, and we literally kids that go home go on the bus, and the other kids get a van that takes them to the work site, and then they can get picked up there, or they can use a bus pass to get home from there. I mean, it's an awesome program, but
it really is a good program.
The way that the education system is set up right now is you have to pass your state tests. State tests are so much harder than when we took them.
Yeah.
They are so much harder than when we took them. They're all online. They're with tools that are hard to understand. We had paper, pencil, circle, and answer, show your work, whatever. Now you've got to use like all of this online calculator, figure out how to get it, figure out how to get it to read to you. I got kids that can't read. So they can't pass the test, which means that whenever they get out, even if they pass that program, they don't have a high school diploma. You don't have that piece of paper. So therefore, you're not going to get a job because everybody just looks at you like you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I've always been a firm believer, like, have an entry test.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn if you have a high school diploma. If you can show me that you can mow the lawn or cut the hair,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
do
for the
any of that
construction
stuff,
thing, if you can go to that job and you say,
right,
I need you to show me you can build this, this, and this.
Right.
And they've gone through that program and learned it.
Show me you can drywall. If you can drywall, I'll start you out on drywall.
Yeah.
We'll teach you as you go. Invest in your employees. Those people will stay.
More people willing to do that.
People are not willing to do that, and that's the issue.
It's sad.
Sometimes the world needs ditch diggers. You can't require a high school diploma for that person, though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
City jobs are amazing jobs.
Nick landscaping Nick.
Yep.
He's hiring right now. Immediate.
Mhm.
He posted on his Facebook Sunday. For immediate start tomorrow, today, like $15 an hour. I need a lawnmower.
Yep.
Someone to mow the lawn. That's it.
Not bad.
Not a single person responded. Not a single person.
No shit.
It was shared by a ton of people.
If I wasn't starting school in 2 weeks, I'd do that.
Not a single
it's not
person
bad.
replied to that. I'm like,
Riding lawnmower or push?
right? No, this is like a legit landscape company. Like, nice.
I'm on a
equipment.
riding
That's
lawnmower
easy,
making
yeah.
15 an hour? Hell yeah.
No response. But he's not asking for high school education. Most of the people he hires are ex-cons. You know, they were felons. They were in jail.
Yeah.
They sold drugs. They got busted, whatever, because they need jobs.
Right.
It's labor. Not a lot of people want to do that. Or people with college degrees and stuff aren't going out to seek mowing lawns.
Right.
He takes them on. As long as you can take a drug test and you show up to work on time.
Yep.
Not a single person.
It's crazy.
Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, it's
Right.
not bad.
Right.
That's
It's just
crazy
It's
to me.
sad. I'm like, fuck, if I didn't have a job, like if I was like unemployed right now because of COVID or something, I'd be signing up for that all day long.
Sure.
He'd even pay you under the table probably.
15 an hour. Yeah. Hey, just a timeout. I'm going to run and use the bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just
The way that everything's just set up, like business-wise, job-wise, education-wise in this country is so ass backwards. I mean, it used to be, everybody always talks about like make America great again and going back to the golden ages and things like that.
right.
Those golden ages, you didn't have to finish high school.
Yeah.
You could drop out and go work in the factory and you'd make enough money that you could buy a house for you and your wife and your 2.5 kids.
Yeah. Minimum wage now is a joke. Minimum wage is supposed to be able to own or rent. On minimum wage working full time, you're supposed to be able to live on your own, basically.
You could never do it.
There's not a single state in this country that you could live on your own off of working minimum wage.
What's
There's
minimum
no way.
wage? Like $8.75 or something?
Yeah, it's a joke. Maybe
There's
even
no
if
way.
it's like $10 or $11.
You can't do it.
You ain't living having a place to live and food to eat and insurance that you're required to have off of $10 off of $400 a week.
Yeah.
After taxes, you're bringing home what, maybe $1,200?
Steph and I make, between the two of us, like, I don't even know, $80,000-$90,000 a year or something like that.
Right.
Between the two of us, we could not afford 2.5 kids in our little house. Like,
right.
It's just not feasible
It's
because she would have to work full time to be able to have those 2.5 kids. She couldn't take off work and
Yeah.
have 3 kids. Like, we couldn't do that. I can't support an entire family without her working.
Mm-mm.
And people don't understand that. You know, like my mom worked part-time a lot whenever we were at the school, but she didn't have to. My
Right.
dad, you know, made decent enough money that he
Right.
could have raised us. But like back in the day, like my grandparents, hell no.
Yeah.
You go to the factory, you make your money, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
And people don't realize that that's changed. They try to just act like everything is the same. It's all in this bubble or this vacuum. And that's just not the case.
The system's broken. You know, like it's just not. Like there's so much greed, corporate greed. Capitalism plays a part in it. Like the government plays a huge part in it. We ain't getting by, you know.
Yeah.
The way things are going now. Like you're not. There's so much poverty.
Yeah.
And
But
I
yeah,
think-
we can't get our fucking roads fixed because
Right.
I don't know. Is there not enough label? Like, what's going on?
Well, that's why people turn a blind eye to it, is because it's poverty. You know,
Mhm.
they think, well, that's the lowest conditions and that's what they get. That's what defined as poverty. You know, that's what the politicians think anyway.
I just struggle with that. I struggle with that when it comes to, you know, you've got your Jeff Bezos or your Bill Gates,
Mhm.
whoever, who are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 billion dollar net worth,
Right.
you know, and their money is them. The way they make their money is off labor.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not really them selling a product.
Yep.
They're making money off these people that are running to make their stuff and the cheap labor that they're paying them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're making money. Most billionaires are these top echelon people. They didn't earn that. That was handed to them through their family, or inherited somehow. Yep. They're not doing anything great.
At the most,
Jeff Bezos isn't doing 750 times the amount of work as the person working in his warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
But that's his income difference, basically. Yep. And we say, like, in capitalism, you have the ability to make as much or little as you want. Well, like, what are they really making? Are they earning that money because they got handed to them?
Right.
Like, where do we cap that off? Where do we realize, like, look, your salary could pay the salary for, they're making more in an hour than his entire, like, warehouse staff is making
in a year
combined.
Yeah.
Like, that's just sad.
And that's the negativity with capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've gotten away from that idea of, like, that American dream.
Yeah.
Like, people always love to preach that, but there is no American dream anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come over here on a boat penniless and make something of yourself by pulling up your bootstraps.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to happen. You're not coming over from Europe or from Mexico or from anywhere with no education and doing what our great-great-grandfathers did.
Yep.
My grandpa's dad came over from Ireland and he fucking had my grandpa, who worked in I think he worked in like a Firestone factory, raised 4 kids. My grandmother didn't work, had the same house in my neighborhood his entire life. Fast forward to today, I could not live in that house with 4 kids with the same job. And it just can't be done.
Because, back then you didn't have 6 or 7 corporations that ran the entire country.
Yeah.
Right.
And the class system was always a little thinner, like in terms of, the divide between them.
Yeah. The degree that we've allowed, to no fault but our own, through government or whatever it is, we've allowed these companies to monopolize our entire infrastructure.
Yeah.
The more and more they make, the more and more they buy out, and they own everything. And there's nothing you can do. So now you don't have that ability to just work hard to make your way, because they own everything and they control everything, and they're going to pay you what they want. And what are you going to do about it?
We've been brainwashed to the point where we have been told to be anti-union, anti all this stuff. In the great days, there were unions for those auto places.
Yep.
Like, there were unions for the Teamsters was this huge thing everybody knew. You don't have any major, huge unions anymore. The biggest union's probably the teachers union, and people shit on them. And it's like, imagine if there was a union for Apple workers who demanded to make a decent wage, or if there was a union for McDonald's or just fast food workers or something like that. We talk about these essential workers during this whole COVID thing who haven't gotten shit from this, even though they continue to promise, we're going to try to work something in for you. But like, what have they gotten?
And you can't tell me, like, you don't deserve it or you haven't earned it. Like, if these CEOs are making this money, that's how much they're getting paid, and this company's still making profit.
Right.
You're telling me you can't spare 100 million of that 80 billion you have to pay your employees a couple more dollars an hour?
Right. How many single mothers were just waitresses back in the day, raising families as a waitress? That shit ain't happening anymore. I don't care. I don't give a damn where you work. You could be the chick at the Diamond Grill that got $50 from us off of our one dinner. She ain't raising the whole family off of working at the Diamond Grill. It's just not happening. And then you're going to tell me that the person at the Applebee's is doing that, getting $3-4 tips?
Right.
It's not happening.
And maybe it's my inexperience with such wealth, but like, to me, the difference between 50 million and 100 million a year, there's really no difference.
No, because you're never going to spend that.
Yeah.
Now make that $1 billion at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's even worse. So
Jeff Bezos was like $80 billion.
They're saying Bezos is going to be like the first trillionaire. I mean, you see these videos where they compare 1 million to 1 billion.
The little rice videos.
And it's like astronomically different.
Trillion.
Yeah. You're like filling this house with rice to the brim.
That's $999 billion.
Yeah. Plus one.
plus one.
See, what's the difference at that point? So, like,
That's
look,
my thing, though.
even $1 billion to that.
How do you make that much money as Jeff Bezos and feel okay waking up and go to bed every day knowing the quality of work or the quality of life that your employees who are making you all that money are living?
Yeah.
And then you
I don't
dip
care
out
if
on
you
your
do-
taxes
You
through a fucking
donate. Oh, I donated $100 million last year. Cool. Well, how about you pay your employees better?
Yeah.
That's not just him. Like, this isn't shit on Jeff Bezos or Amazon right now. There's lots of people out there.
Sure.
60 some billionaires in the United States.
And when you make $1 trillion, 100 million is
$1
nothing.
trillion, bro. You will never spend that. His kids won't spend that. Their kids won't spend that. Their kids won't spend that. Their kids won't spend that.
And
Their
that's the
kids
thing that
won't
I
spend
hate
that.
because like people are always like, well, like you just said, $1 trillion, 100 billion's nothing. And people go, well, that's 10% of his income. But it's like, one,
That's 10% of his income.
10% of your income is not the same as 10%.
Right.
Right. Your 10% of your income is not the same equivalent of 10% of his income.
Right.
And secondly, like a lot of these people that I know that do that argument are the same people that are going to church tithing 10% every single month. And it's like, if you can make it work, he can fucking make it work.
Yeah, right.
You're doing that monthly.
Right.
We're asking for him to do it once a year.
Right.
I don't know.
I just don't know the solution to it. It's just crazy to me. And like, again, who am I to say that he doesn't have the right to make that much money, but just morally and like the state of the country? Well, he's like, what's the right thing to do?
He found the loopholes with capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, all of his income is going to go to his kids and then their kids. And to my point earlier,
Oh, yeah.
these people didn't earn this money. It just handed to them,
Yeah.
and they just continue the trend. They didn't
Stay rich because they give it to each
Yeah,
other.
they didn't do anything to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
And while
Bron's kids, they're not going to have to do anything with their
No.
life. It's
Nope.
going to be handed to them. They could do nothing with his empire that he's built. Now, granted, he's worked what
Sure.
he has, and he does do a lot of good. But the point is that they won't have to do anything.
Right. And that's the thing is it's like at the same time, we have restrictions on other things. Like we don't allow businesses to own entire monopolies. We don't have.
Well, we've gotten to that.
We've
That's
gotten to the
problem,
point
though.
where we basically do have
There's
them.
7
but like,
corporations that own every company in this country.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think people should stand for that.
Oh,
We have these anti-monopoly rules. We
Pepsi,
broke up the railroads. We broke
Nabisco.
up the oil companies. We broke up the diamond miners. We made it so that they couldn't own everything and said, hey, probably shouldn't be legal.
We used to.
And we've just allowed for all of this stuff to gradually continue to happen.
Yep.
And we've let it get away from us.
Look at cell phone companies. Look how many cell phone companies there used to be.
And now they're all merging together.
AT&T,
And Sprinter together.
Verizon,
T-Mobile.
Like those are the 3 main
T-Mobile
ones.
and Sprinter together now.
Yeah.
AT&T and Verizon, I think, are together now.
AT&T and Verizon aren't. No, they're still separate.
Okay.
But Verizon did take over someone.
Yeah.
There was there used to be tons of phone companies.
Yeah, what was that cheap one?
Same with cable companies. Everything got bought out. Everything
Facebook
monopolized.
took over Instagram.
Facebook bought out Instagram. They own everything. Freaking Microsoft's about to buy TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't have to get shut down, but whatever.
Yeah.
The whole monopolization of these corporations, though, that greed is what fuels the status that this country is in.
Yeah.
The reliance on gasoline. These companies are so full of greed that they're not going to allow that industry to fail.
Well, then
There's
you get
other
instances
sources
like,
of.
Well, then you get instances like First Energy where you have a major conglomerate that says, you know what, we got some issues with these 2 nuclear whatever, and we don't want that to get shut down. So we're going to give you $300 million to make sure that this bill passes.
Yep.
Okay.
It happens.
It got caught. The guy got caught, and he's going to go to jail. And the people involved at First Energy are going to go to jail. But how many of those deals go on that we don't know?
Yep. The gas company the oil company that's reliant on all of our vehicles running off gas isn't going to promote electric vehicles
Hell no.
or hydrogen vehicles. What they should be doing is investing in that as the next avenue of income for revenue for themselves.
Sure.
But they're too set on the greed. Well, the next generation will figure it out. Right
Well,
now,
then
we
they
just want
don't.
to make our
They
money.
don't have a monopoly on it though, because you can't guarantee that the sun's only going to go to your vehicles.
Yep.
I can guarantee that the oil is going to go into mine. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
We just let so much shit slide, and
We're
we're
powerless.
finally, but we're not though.
I know, but
Look at how much stuff has changed racially in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Is that what it's been? 2 months? Imagine if people started to get pissed about this type of shit.
Well, imagine if everybody bonded together. That's just a percentage of people.
But it's so much work. To people, it's so much work. Like, yes, the racial stuff, but how much are you hearing about anymore? It was big for that first 2 weeks,
for sure.
3 weeks, and then it fizzled out. There's a couple places still, like Portland's still going hard.
Yeah.
You know, there's places that are still
Seattle's
doing
still
it, but like
going.
people get distracted by the next big thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
It's not as strong as it was, but it's still going. And I think that that's a powerful thing. Like, we haven't been to any protests lately, but there's still stuff in the news every single day. I still think that we're fighting that fight. I mean, we talk about it every week.
We can still continue to talk about it. We're still having the conversations. We haven't let that part falter, but
awareness is the key to it all.
Yeah.
I hope that the next step, once we get past this point, is that we can start to attack this type of stuff. Like I would love to have, these essential workers, when COVID ends and they essentially try to fuck them over, I hope that you have an essential worker walk out for a week. Because what are you going to do?
The hardest part about it, I think, for the majority of people is it sucks. It's awful, but it doesn't affect your everyday life enough for people to take a stand and make a difference. The every average day person, like, it sucks that fucking we don't rely on gas, but it doesn't affect us enough on our daily lives that we're going to go out and protest every weekend to bring down the oil companies. Like, we're going to get in our car, fill our gas up, and drive to work and drive wherever we need to go.
Right.
Because it's not affecting us negatively, really. Like, there's better options for the country, for the earth, for the planet, whatever, but
which is going to get to my review later.
We're just going to pass on and freaking move on. But we should talk about Made to Motivate next. Do we have anything else we want to touch on this before we move to Made to Motivate? We had other stuff to talk about, but
no, I think that was a good conversation.
Yeah. While we're on this whole like corporate greed, and to Jesse's point, coming over from another country to America and how we're not like the land of dreams anymore. We're going to do Made to Motivate real quick.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Made to Motivate segment. So this all kind of ties together really well with the show I started watching on Netflix yesterday. It's called Down to Earth with Zac Efron.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, all the girls' eyes are going googly right now.
Your eyes are going.
Ours too.
He's handsome. But look, so I watched this. It's a documentary on Netflix, and he travels the world with a co-host who's like an activist,
buddy Darren,
and basically I've only watched 2 episodes so far, but so far he went to Iceland and he went to France and England. Concept of the show is he's out looking for or documenting different ways to live our life, whether it be through energy, or we talked about, like, one episode was about water and like just how that all works, and like it really opened my eyes. But what I really liked about the show is you took this guy, Zac Efron, who's an entertainer, he does movies and stuff, but he's using his platform to really bring some insight to some pretty cool shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I was really blown away by just the 2 episodes I watched so far. Do you know how many it is?
It's 8.
8 episodes. Yeah. Okay. So I only watched 2. I like randomly turned it on last night. I had it saved on my list for a while wanting to watch it. And I finally was like, screw it. Enough video games. I'm going to actually watch some TV that I haven't watched in forever. But to kind of Jesse's point, or like this greed level and stuff, the first episode talks about Iceland. And Iceland is a big geothermal like epicenter, basically. They've got some tectonic plates that rub against each other. They got a volcano. I found it super interesting how this country has taken the step in the direction to literally like live off the land. Yeah. Like the amount of like non-greed going on there blows my mind. They did a comparison between the U.S. and Iceland as far as our energy and how much we use, like
fossil
coal
fuels.
Or fossil fuel for energy, how much they use. 63% of our energy comes from that. 0% of their countries' energy comes from
What
that.
Do they do? Just all
They
solar
do geothermal. So they're using heated water, steam from they bore down into the earth. They use the heat from the earth to turn into steam, which then powers a turbine, which then creates electricity. And this is how they're powering their country, 100%.
Wow.
Now, what was really cool is, so as with any energy source, there's negative to it. So they talked about that and how the CO2 that is generated from this and what do you do with it? They filter that back down into the core of the earth, and it actually turns into minerals. It turns into like fool's gold. It turns into rocks. So they're just putting it back right into the earth. They have no carbon footprint from it.
That's wild.
100% of their energy.
So how does that
100%.
translate? How does that translate? And I don't know if they got into this, but I haven't watched the show.
Yeah.
How does that translate in terms of like bills and stuff for them?
Did they talk about cost?
Like, is that free for citizens?
Yeah,
or?
they mentioned about how much it saves.
They did.
They gave a percentage, and I can't remember what it is right now. I want to say it's like 30% less.
Yeah, it was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And they have 6, I think it was 6 of these plants, that are creating this energy.
Sure.
They heat their roads with it, so they don't ever have to plow or shovel snow or anything.
Just like steam pipes underneath the roads or something?
They didn't talk about it in general, but like they're there in like the winter and the roads are completely clear. You can tell that they're like heated. They use this thermal energy to like cook. They like show on the show this one place.
Eggs.
Yeah, dude, this dude he makes bread. He fills a cooking pot.
Yeah.
He put on like a stove, make the bread and the dough in there, wrap it in saran wrap. Their ground is there's a volcano nearby, so the ground is like extremely hot in a certain area. They literally put this pot of bread dough on the ground, bury it in the rock and gravel of the ground, and 24 hours later it's baked. It's insane, bro.
You get shit like that in Hawaii a lot.
Yeah.
They'll bury stuff in palm leaves and
But
stuff.
the cool thing about this place just in general is like what they're using the land for good. They're not taking from it. They're just using the source that's already there.
Right.
They go to out to eat at this one place. This guy, he's like a pretty incredible chef for Icelandic standards anyways. Like the stuff he plated and stuff was super cool. But they were talking about how everything like comes from their own sources. They're not importing stuff. Like it's all locally sourced. He cooked them like a reindeer meal. Yeah, there was like leaves from his like garden and stuff, but there was like he made like a reindeer dish, and they've got really strict laws around like their hunting. Like you have a lottery you have to get into to be able to like go out and hunt. He uses every ounce of the reindeer, every part of it. So they use all their natural stuff. They were talking about smoking. The one thing he served was dung smoked reindeer.
Yeah.
Like poop.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And Zach was like, really? And he's like, well, do you see any forest around? Do you see any wood? We don't have it. They use what they have.
Right.
And they have the...
It's not like it makes your food taste like shit.
No, but it's just like the concept that they're literally using their natural resources.
They don't waste.
They're not wasting anything.
Yeah.
The energy they use is incredible. They've got that really cool the pond, the sauna thing or whatever there that's
hot
in Iceland.
Springs? Yeah.
The Iceland like hot springs that's got like they basically were realizing that this water that was coming from the volcanoes and stuff was like outletting to a certain area, and they turned it into like a research facility. They've got a medical facility there where they use the water and stuff from, just as a way that they literally just use every ounce that they can naturally without kind of corruption or like polluting. And like, why can't we do that? Like we are in the greatest country in the world,
right?
But we have so much greed. Like we could implement that here.
Yeah,
we could implement geothermal. My dad's house, the house he just built, uses geothermal energy.
Yeah,
he literally have a well under their ground, and they use that water to heat their house, to cool their house. He's not plugged into like Dominion East Ohio gas.
Right.
They're using all 100% geothermal heat and cool from the ground.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in watching it, I've seen all 8 episodes. I sat and binged it after you recommended it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm only going to watch 2 or 3, and then I ended up getting sucked in for all 8. So in watching it, there's something that's highly beneficial yet sourly depressing at the same time. It's that America was founded on innovation and basically to think ahead of the game.
Yep.
This series makes you realize how far behind we truly are. Because not even just Iceland, later episodes you'll get to, like they go to England and they go to Slovenia was my favorite episode without question, because it talks about life and it talks about they're one of those blue, what do they call them? Blue locations, I think is what they're called. There's like 5 of them all around the world.
Yeah.
And what it is it means that they have a majority of centurions who have lived past 100 years.
Yeah.
They're citizens. They have a reputable amount of 100-year-old plus citizens living there. So they go into it. Zach and Darren dive into it, wonder why, what's so different about their lives as compared to American lives and all that. And they break down everything. And the results, I don't want to spoil it, but it's so basic and it's so important, like that we forget that as Americans.
Absolutely.
Our values are highly in the wrong place.
Material.
And
all materialistic.
Yeah, and that episode I thought I got the most from. It was easily my favorite, and it shows you. They talked to a couple of centurions along the way in terms of, what do you take from it? What's different for you as compared to us and all that? And Zach, compares his disposition in Los Angeles and all that. And he ends up actually breaking down, which is pretty cool. Like it's a very revealing moment. It's a very rewarding series and I highly recommend it. And very well done from a technical aspect too. The editing has a lot of personality to it.
Yep.
Zach and Darren mesh well off of each other. We kind of get a reveal into them 8 days with them.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's sad. It's revealing.
It is.
God, I gotta watch this like tonight.
Dude, it's good. The other thing that I forgot about from the Iceland one was at that plant, that electric plant or whatever, they also had those car stations.
Yeah.
So they're fueling their cars from it, like, I guess I'm assuming electric or I don't know, whatever it is, hydrogen. But I mean, we can do that here.
Yep.
But there's so much greed and stuff for it. Like the water episode blew my mind. You got to watch the water one. Like, and I've watched other documentaries about like our water in the U.S. and stuff, but like this one really opened my eyes to what's really out there and how we allow the Food and Drug Administration or government, whatever, to like dictate the stuff that we eat and drink and like what they deem okay and not okay.
Yeah.
And then you see what other countries are eating and drinking and like the difference.
Oh, they eat way more natural, healthy shit.
Wild.
And it's funny because we deem the word purified as this great thing, this mythical thing that, is amazing for our bodies and all that. And they view purified as, well, you're robbing them of all the minerals that water contains. And it's
really eye-opening.
I can't believe that.
I highly recommend the show.
8
just
episodes.
For the knowledge, the knowledge aspect. There's really just a lot of cool, innovative stuff in the 2 episodes alone that I've watched so far. But as far as motivational goes, just like it's good to see that, and it's good to see him trying to push this agenda for positive change.
Yeah.
We need more of that type of thing. He's got notoriety behind him, like, and he says in the show several times, like, we're really hoping to spread this message worldwide. We're really hoping to get what you're doing here out, and, to invoke this change other places.
Right.
I hope that he runs with that outside of the documentary and actually like
continues
to do it here. Get other celebrities involved, get involved in the government, take the things that he's learned and seen and become an activist for it, kind of like Leo is. Like Leo's very involved with climate change and stuff like that.
The polar caps.
Yep.
Yeah.
So seeing the documentary itself is eye-opening, and people here hopefully work towards some change with it. But very inspiring show. Very cool to see. Sadly, to see, like your point, Chris, how far we are behind. But I don't think we're behind. I think we choose to stall. Sort of thing. We have that.
There's
technology.
agreed.
We can do it here, but our greater good is our wealth, whereas their greater good is the livelihoods of their citizens and in their earth and the country, and not that materialistic lifestyle or living, that we have here. Like, look at that place compared to here. It was gorgeous. I want to fucking go there.
I think it's one of those series where it's simultaneously entertaining and educational at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very hard to find because, one is always sacrificed for the other.
Yeah.
And like you said, to piggyback off what you said, Zach uses his image, as a public figure and all that. You'll watch the series for him because you'll go, well, he's either sexy or he's, I think he's great in movies and all that.
Yeah.
And then it'll open your eyes even further when you realize the stuff that he's pulling back, that he's showing the audience, and all that.
That's what turned me on to watch it. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of documentaries like out there,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw with Zac Efron, I'm like, okay, this is kind of different. Like, this dude isn't a activist, you wouldn't think of him that way. So I'm like, where is this show going? And it sucked me in.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, there is entertainment value to it. I do like the way it's filmed. I like that the cast is involved, like they're giving them food.
Yeah.
I was cracking up at the waterfall park ranger guy.
Yeah.
They're just like,
dude, that guy didn't know shit.
It's like, okay.
And then he goes, I just started this summer, and he goes, oh, yep, that explains it.
Yeah. Anyhow, check it out. Down to Earth with Zac Efron. It's on Netflix. I don't know where else, but it is on Netflix. So
Brought to you by Netflix.
9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I give it a 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
2 big thumbs up so far. Great show. I think all we got left is sports, right? Or no, we got Hollywood Report too.
Yeah, we already did
I'll be quick.
sports.
Let's do Hollywood Report quick since we're on movie stuff or TV shows, and we'll try and hop through this. We got some interesting things to talk about.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! Steve, assemble!
I love that soundbite so much.
It's so good. Christopher.
Yeah.
Hollywood Report.
So we got 2 things this week. The first one is this big deal between Universal and AMC theaters. They have reached a deal that shortens the time between when a movie premieres in theaters to when it's able to move to other platforms like digital VOD. This is a 17-day window. The new deal makes it so that Universal can move its films after just 3 weeks in theaters, thus helping out with the profits benefits.
Why 17 days?
Because usually most movies, that's usually when the decline starts from their profits. You usually have a good first 2 weeks, unless it's something like Titanic, for instance.
Weird. Such an odd number, like
Avengers
14
or something.
days. Or,
Yeah. And they're taking those extra 3 days as a way to cap the rest of that weekend. So most movies debut on Thursday, Friday-ish.
Okay.
So you got those 3 days and then 2 weeks from then.
Get through that.
You said that
final
was
weekend.
AMC and Universal?
Yeah, AMC and Universal Pictures.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, so
Is it just for COVID, or is this like for the
It's
foreseeable future?
for good.
What's the time frame typically?
It's debatable. It depends how good a movie does. Typically, you're looking at anywhere between
Usually a
2
while,
months
right?
to 5 months.
I was going to say up to like 6 months possibly.
17
Yeah.
days is short.
Yeah, it used to be a lot longer.
I mean, I would think
I
less
think
people are
that's-
going to go.
I know. I think that's going to be a
I'll
downfall
wait
of
the 2
theaters.
weeks or 3 weeks after the movie comes out to see it.
So that was my debate for you guys. It's basically like, so can you wait for 2.5 weeks and say like, well, there's a movie that I'm not dying to see. I'll wait until it comes out, pay $20 on VOD. And
So it is still paid for after. It's not
Yeah.
free. It's not like going to-
no, it's not paid.
I think it's going to hurt a little bit, but maybe not much.
Yeah.
I think that when you get into those big movies, like every Marvel movie, it's still going to blow out the box office
Mhm.
records. But like,
I
you
think-
get into those movies where like Dr. Sleep, fantastic movie, not huge box office, not a huge thing that a bunch of people are going to clamor to go see. I watched it at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people will wait for that type of movie.
Yeah.
And I think that those are the movies that are like, I think the vast majority of Hollywood creative films, our beloved A24 films, are not going to get that turnout. Like even Midsummer, like was a huge, I don't know, like
Probably the biggest for A24. I mean,
right. Like it was a big, what's the word? Like marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't like a box office blowout. It was just good for A24.
Yeah.
But like, even that, it probably wasn't as good as they expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think those types of movies are really going to suffer. And that's where you get your really, like withstand the test of time type of films
Mm-hmm.
outside of like the Marvel movies that are always going to be fun to watch, but they're not like classics.
So
I think they need to make it more. I think the cost aspect for the video on demand needs to increase.
you mean more?
I think if they're going to do like, okay, we're going to roll it out in 3 weeks, you can watch it at home. It shouldn't be $20. If you want to pay $10, then go see it in theater. If you want to see it and you don't want to go to the theater and you can get your group of friends together, they should be charging like $50. You can have as many people over as you want to watch it. And then 2-3 months after that, they do that where you can buy it on digital or Blu-ray for your $15-$20 or whatever.
Right.
They could do it in like a stage type thing to still try and, okay, maybe people don't want to go to the theater. Okay, cool. For $50, you can rent it and your whole family can watch it. And it's still probably cheaper than the theater. But it's also going to push that person like me who goes to the movie by myself. I'm going to go see it in the theater and pay the $10-$12 than $50. Like, get more of their value out of it, because I think that is a line that they're going to push theaters out.
Well,
people are going to wait.
So to me, there's a reason why this works, because it's Universal. First of all, these two had rivalries, all this summer. AMC and Universal were back and forth saying, we're not going to show their movies. They went this video on demand route during the COVID thing. We take this personally and all that. There's a reason I think this works for Universal. Their biggest property, arguably, is the Fast and Furious franchise. Trust me, I am in the same boat with you. But if we're talking numbers, it's the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Now, you take the Fast and Furious out of the equation, there's not a lot you can talk about for Universal in terms of big box office appeal.
Which is crazy when you think about it, because Universal used to be so big.
Right.
But they have their own goddamn theme park.
We're not talking Marvel, though. We're not talking anything like that. So the reason why I think this will work is a majority of Universal pictures are these April and September sleepers that are easily forgettable. Yeah. Films like Trolls 2, so you can roll that out for 2 weeks, and then you'll make more at home, because people are going to take their kids. They don't want to go out in public, especially with everything going on. They're going to want to watch it at home. They'll wait the 2.5 weeks and say, well, Trolls isn't really a be all end all experience. Right. I'll watch it at home for $20.
But then to that point, is it worth the theater to even paying to have it in theater?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just for, we'll see who the diehards are, who really want to go out and pay the $10-$15 to go see it. For me, I like the deal for Universal. I think Universal wins out on this one more than AMC does.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
My concern is like everything else with the greed and everything is now we're tiptoeing on a fine line of, is this the end of movie theaters? Because people have an option to not go.
And that was one thing that I wasn't taking into account, was I wasn't, I guess, registering that it was just a Universal deal. Yeah. So it probably won't be the end of theaters now.
Because Marvel will never go to straight VOD.
But I don't want them to be successful, because I don't want it to set a precedent for other production companies.
The only ones I could see are like the smaller ones. I could see something like that happening for A24 possibly, because A24 aren't these theatrical gems to where like you have to see it in theaters.
What is AMC?
No, not usually.
What did Universal have to lose by just having it in the theater like they do now and releasing it on a normal time frame?
You mean like to expend?
Are they gonna lose money?
Yes, if it's in theaters longer, because they have to pay those theaters to market those movies.
I thought the theaters had to pay the.
No, it's actually reverse. They have to pay each time they have those slots in the theaters.
Oh, that's what we talk about.
Yeah,
or like theaters had to pay to have these movies or whatever.
Theaters usually pay for like the actual movie itself if you're in a competing area and stuff. But yeah, your movies you do pay. For my understanding, when I worked at the theater, at least, was that, I don't know if it's changed since then, but I know that like when we had the films and stuff, like if you messed up a film or something, that was like $15,000 down the toilet.
So we'll go back to Trolls 2 just for a second, because it makes a good example. So if Universal's going to pay to have Trolls 2 in their theater and market it for, we'll say 40 screenings in a weekend or something like that.
Sure.
And they're only getting 2 or 3 people at each screening, barely anything whatsoever. Right. They're going to go, what the hell with this? Just bring it out to VOD. We'll make more on video than we will in a theater, and it won't cost us anything in terms of having to rent out theater space.
I could see Universal ending up as like an app, like a Stars app, where you have like, oh, come see your movies here. Like Universal will just have its own app. Like
that'd
they
be
put
interesting.
Their movies out there, because like you said, they don't have the properties that they used to have. Universal used to be like the powerhouse or the summer blockbuster, and it's just not the case anymore. And I kind of want them to just fail and have to do that, because I don't want to see theaters go under. But then in the same breath, like, I don't know. I don't know if it gets to that point or not. Now that we're saying, like, talking about it,
Me personally, I don't think theaters will fail. I think what's going to happen is, if anything, theaters will just become obsolete for the small budget movies. I think, the big budget blockbusters will ultimately remain prominent in those theaters. I think it's the ones like, The Lighthouse, for instance, or something like that. You wouldn't have that play in theaters anymore because it's not going to be a box office dealer. It debuted at 7th, for Christ's sake.
But the thing that happens, though, is your blockbuster, you have 2 seasons for blockbusters. You've got the beginning of summer, and then you've got November to Christmas. And outside of that, you get a little boost in October for like your scary movies and stuff, but everything else just sucks. I mean, the theaters are dead during the year.
But let's be honest, even Oscar season is not the big budget pull that the summer blockbuster season is.
No, it's not.
That's the be all end all. That's
you
the
get
Super
a
Bowl.
very big jump in the last 3 weeks of the year for Christmas because people get gift cards and they come in for Oscar movies, or you get a couple of things like Benjamin Button and stuff like that.
Go see American Hustle.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I don't know, man. It just worries me a lot. The average American goes to the movies only 2 times a year. Like, we are not the normal person.
That's
2
strange.
times a year.
I do that in like 2 days.
I know. I see at least 20 movies a year.
Yeah.
I look at it as other industry trends and the way things go, and with just technology and everything taking over. Like, we're so quick to want. We can't wait to see the movie. Like, we got to release it this soon to be able to see it. And then technologically, like, to your point, okay, now Universal's going to have an app. Like, just slowly getting into the grounds of the theaters. It's like, it's only a matter of time before they're no longer around.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder, like, I would
look
love
at
to see
every other industry. Everything is turning to, you do it online. You don't have to go out and physically do it. You can, whether it be shopping online or seeing something online. Like,
that's what I was going to say. I would love to see if Endgame would have come out available on demand at the same time that it opened in theaters. I think that you would have a very large percentage of people who would say, yeah, I'll stay at home.
Absolutely.
I'll order a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
I like the idea of being able to pause it and go take a piss whenever I want to.
Yep.
Like,
there's not diehard moviegoers that much. Like you said,
I don't think people
norm.
appreciate the sound system and the large picture and the IMAX the way that we do.
I agree.
The only problem with that is, like I said back then when we were having this discussion a few months ago, is that so you're going to cram as many people into a room and watch it on a TV like this, and only going to charge $20 for all those people.
For sure.
As opposed to a theater where you're going 15, 15, 15,
That's
15, 15. To me, from a studio standpoint, if you're a big budget blockbuster like Marvel, VOD is never the way to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
where I was saying they need to raise the price.
Yeah.
If it's going to be VOD, like, cool, we'll roll it out in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be $50.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 2-3 months, you can buy it for $15 or $20 and own it and watch it on your own or watch it on Netflix. Like, if we're rolling it out of theaters in 2 weeks, make your money.
Yeah.
Even at $50, if you can get a group of friends together and have a movie night and watch it and pay $5 a piece.
Right.
See, I think we'd all pay 50 for Tenet right now. I really do. And
Hell
I think
yeah.
that would take away from the price. So, like, first of all, that would take away from the price, like the profits that they get, the theater. Plus, it would hurt how the movie was probably meant to be shown.
Yeah.
Like with that great innovative sound system.
I don't want to watch that not in a theater.
Well,
That's what I said
my thing
too.
is, it's like,
I don't think I could.
I don't
movies
wanna do
like The Hateful Eight. I know you didn't like it, but like using that 35 millimeter print or 70 millimeter print, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Those wide shots of, the side of a mountain and these giant meadows and, these just crazy artistic shots. You don't get that with straight to video. Those movies will not exist anymore. You're going to get the crappy, thrown together crap that nobody cares about.
Yep.
Nobody's going to care about the art of film anymore. And a lot of people don't care as it is.
Didn't we have did we ever do a poll about that?
Well, what?
About movies, like going to a movie versus not?
I think so.
I think we
I
should.
don't think we did.
Because I really don't. I honestly think if you polled 1 out of 10, or you polled 10 people, maybe one would say, like, I'd rather go to the theater than just watch it at home in my living room in my pajamas and eat my own food.
So here's my question.
We love that artisticness. Like, we're into movies. Like, I think just our personalities, like, I want that movie theater experience, not just because I'm in the theater, but I want the sound.
Right.
I want the big screen. I want that. Like, there's certain movies I want to see that way.
Right.
You're not going to context that with COVID today, though, are you? Like,
no.
You're
Just
not
in
going
general.
to. Okay, just say like,
if you had
COVID
the choice,
doesn't exist.
If you had the choice to see a movie in any normal day situation, could I go to the movie theater and pick whatever movie, whichever your favorite movie is, and you had the choice when it came out to see it in the theater or to see it from the comfort of your home, what would you choose?
Yeah.
Same cost. Say it's the same cost.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Wow, same cost.
There's some movies
Basically
that, like,
is $20.
Yeah.
There's just some movies though that you have to see. Like
I agree.
Avatar,
I'm movie theater all day long.
I've never seen since it was in the theater.
I've
Life
never
of
seen it at all.
Pi, I've never watched it since it was in the theater. Eightful Eight, I've watched it maybe once or twice. It's nowhere near as good as when I went and saw it at the main premiere on the actual film projector. It was amazing.
You need that sound. Your seat rumbles. Like you can just feel it.
Yeah.
Like
even big stuff like Endgame, I had to see that on the theater.
Absolutely.
Like it doesn't have to be an artistic movie, but like other stuff, like I
Super
love.
bad. You could watch from home.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I love It Follows. I consider that more of an artistic horror film. I can watch that at home.
I can too.
There's a lot of movies you can watch at home.
And
some of those big, it's like your thriller action movies where there's great sound quality. Like you need that action packedness. Like
Mission Impossible when he's on top of
sound.
that fucking building in Dubai. I saw that in IMAX.
Oh yeah.
That was mind blowing. I can't imagine not seeing that
love those
in
movies.
theaters.
Like a
at some
comedy or
point.
something, an interview. I can watch it at home. I'm like, I don't care.
A comedy should never be like, I don't think a comedy is a theater experience.
Doesn't
honestly.
have to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for like when you have other audience members reacting to things in that way.
Yeah.
Jackass 3D was a theater experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was incredible.
But see, so to compare now, Jackass 3D was also a spectacle too because they also used 3D cameras.
They used the best 3D cameras, the same ones that they used in Avatar.
I totally agree.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
most comedies
we need to do that
though,
poll, though.
you don't need to see. I could. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I saw in theaters. Didn't need
I
to.
didn't have to though. Yeah, I saw it. Did like, yeah, either comedies or whatever. It's your action thrillers. Those are even like horror movies. It's like that anticipation.
See, I need to be in the theater for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would want to see that in the theater.
Yep.
The only genre really you don't need to is mainly like a comedy. Or like a child, like an animated movie.
Some action movies, I don't think you need to. It's got to be done well. I could watch a Fast and Furious movie at home. I don't need to see it in the
but I
theater.
do like that, like hearing the cars roar.
Sound
behind,
porn.
the sound.
Yep.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. The car engine noise.
Watching the
different
Raid.
levels of it.
I bought the Raid today. I finally found it somewhere. That was great in the theaters. I'm so glad that I saw
wish
it.
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. Nick was just like, hey, man, I heard about this movie. It's supposed to be like really, really good. You want to go see it? And I was like, yeah, fine. Didn't know that it wasn't in English. Didn't know it was a fucking kung fu movie. And I just walked out like, holy shit.
Top 10 action easily.
I don't think there's.
Have you seen The Raid? Oh, bro, we got to watch it.
You guys talk about
I'll bring it
a
over.
bunch. I'm down.
It's okay.
You know me. I'm easy to amuse. I'm not Jesse or Nick.
Dude, you'll be blown away.
I enjoy pretty much anything. I don't think that for the most part there's probably a middle ground. I think you like love movies or you're just like I'll watch it at home and I'm cool. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I think like we just enjoy movies. Like that's part of probably why we all get along. Like we have a lot of the same interests. Like but I think for a lot of people they're like whatever. I don't care.
Dude, we did a drive-in in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. Yeah. I enjoy
to
movies.
see movies that came out 40 years ago.
Right. Exactly.
There's such a good one next weekend too, or next week, and I'll be at work, so I can't do it.
What is it?
Go back.
Major League and Field of Dreams.
Man,
That's a
those
good
are some
lineup.
fucking good ones, man. Autorama.
Yeah.
Dude, Field of Dreams and the driving would be legit.
You're killing me. Ugh.
That would be super dope.
But let me get to my other piece here.
Yeah, Miss Ellen.
So yeah, Ellen DeGeneres, for anybody who doesn't know, is under the gun right now for a widely circulated piece that includes a host of former employees' anonymous accusations of racism, intimidation, unjust termination, and an overall toxic work culture perpetrated by the show's top producers. Perpetuated, I should say, by the show's top producers. The report prompted an in-house investigations by Telepicture's parent Warner Media, which is said to now be largely complete. In her note, DeGeneres takes responsibility insofar as the show bears her name and insists that steps will be taken to correct the issues going forward.
Well, I heard a lot of it was from her, not just her producers.
Well, that's the thing. She tried to out it as I didn't know about this.
Right.
This is my producers. This isn't the work environment I've ever dreamt of.
Yeah.
And now, after she released that statement, she was getting a lot of backlash
from people saying,
you knew
no,
about
you're
this,
a
you were
ass.
involved, you
Yeah.
were part of this.
Brad Garrett and Leah Thompson are.
Which to me is interesting. Like, not to stereotype or anything, but like she's a minority in the fact that she's a woman. She is homosexual.
Mhm.
Like, you'd think that type of person is going to be more understanding or have a
Yeah.
level of value or treating people fairly. She fucking should be an actor. I don't know if you consider a show host an actor, but she's fucking good at thinking she's nice.
Yeah.
I would never think that of Ellen. I've said time and time again, I'd love to go on her show.
Mhm.
She seems like such a cool person. She's always giving back. And then you hear this shit. And then she's also supposedly part of Pizzagate or Pedo
Yeah.
Bear. Or
She's a
whatever it is.
pedophile also. Apparently.
She's on the list of that as well. And
That
now
I don't believe.
she's
but-
taking
I don't
a
either.
break away from the show. They're going to take a break.
Pizzagate is not real.
Yeah.
But it's disheartening
Anything
about
perpetuated
Ellen.
by QAnon, I don't believe.
I when I first saw the report, I thought like she's a comedian. You know,
People
comedians
take things
like
out of context.
people take things too seriously. Like
Yeah.
if I'm a comedian, your entire
That's your job.
I don't know, like all the money that you make is basically based off of racism or facing like
Right.
you know
Adversity stuff.
situations that people like she makes gay jokes.
Right.
That's not okay for us to do because we're not part of that community, but she's able to capitalize off of that. You know, Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle make all of their money off of racism.
Yep.
I could not do Dave Chappelle's act and still be just as famous as him.
Right.
I'd, you know, get the crap beat out of me.
Right. You'd be Kramer.
And
Right. I was gonna
yeah,
say, yeah.
exactly. And so like my first thought was like, okay, she's a comedian. Like that's just who she is. Even with all of the years of like the Ellen show and like the philanthropy and all that, she's a comedian when it comes down to it. And that's just who you are. But then I saw a lot of comments that specifically said that it was the meanness of it. And I feel like meanness is something that is like specifically honed in on. Like I would be like if you make an inappropriate joke, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're being a dick.
Right.
Or I'm gonna be like, you know, that's not cool or something like that. But like for me to go out of my way and be like, Ryan is
direct.
being mean,
Yeah.
it's something that is constant. It's like calling somebody a bully.
Mhm.
If you make a joke and it makes fun of me and I get my feelings hurt, you're not a bully.
Right.
If it happens every single week and you're targeting me,
That's
then
what I
you're
say.
a bully.
That's what I
you're
think.
being
Mean is
mean.
It takes effort.
And when I saw meanness in all of these reports, that's what made me kind of go like, well, I wonder what the fuck's going on here, because it's just something like it takes something to say that somebody's being mean to you because you're admitting that you've been like hurt
Yeah.
consistently. And it's
Mhm.
almost like a vulnerability to be like, hey, they're being mean to me.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I kind of lost some respect for her in that aspect because, I mean, I don't know the whole case. It's not like it's going to go to trial or anything. It's just public opinion. But like when I hear that somebody's being mean, it just takes it to another level for me.
And the rumor right now is that she's going to probably step down.
She said she was going to step away or take a break.
Yeah.
Supposedly, and I didn't look into it because it very well is a Reddit conspiracy theory, but like Jimmy Kimmel was supposedly taking a break. Like all these people that are supposedly a part of this Epstein thing or Pizzagate are all taking breaks from their shows. I don't know. Is Jimmy Kimmel taking a break?
Not that I've heard.
Yeah. Like
I don't watch a lot of that.
I don't
I don't watch a
either.
lot of TV.
Neither do I. He was on the list though, and I saw like that Ellen is coming out and saying she's taking a break or like stepping away for now. And I don't know. It is disheartening, like if it is true, because I mean, I really have always looked to her as being like an icon of doing good and giving back and being above everything else going on, because that's what she's always
It's a
portrayed.
very positive show.
Yeah, she's always portrayed that.
But it just proves even more so that I don't need to say anything more obvious than this, but it just proves that gay people are human, just like we are.
Absolutely.
You know, it's the same thing. There's mean ones, you know, there's racist ones, there's all kinds of, you know, just because their sexual orientation is different from ours does not make them any different from us.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Like, because you do tend to put certain demographics into a box.
Yep.
And especially ones that like are not like the easy ones are always the negative things that we focus on. And that's why we have, you know, protests and stuff with racism and things like that. But when you get into it, like you don't really think about gay people as being like these mean people. Like it's just not something you think about. You think about like Queer Eye and Ellen and like
they're like happy-go-lucky and everything's great and
right,
because they've dealt with that their whole lives,
or they're victims and like they've had to come through these struggles and stuff. But you never think of them as being somebody who's in power that's hurting people that they're around them.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I'm interested to see. Like, I mean, if she's stepping down, obviously something happened. Like,
she said she was stepping away because of all the backlash she's gotten.
Yeah.
Even after she's come out and said, look, I apologize. We're looking into it. We're doing this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
She said, look, if you can't take it for what it is and you know me and you watch whatever, she said, then maybe now's the time to step away.
But the thing is, any apology is to admit guilt. It is what it is. So once she
It's
has
a
that,
lose.
the public can't look at her the same way again. She has admitted guilt.
See, but for me, like I would
It's a
much
lose-lose.
rather stepping down doesn't mean shit to me. I think if she came out and legitimately had a, face to the camera moment where it was
Epiphany.
just like, hey,
Mhm.
I really fucked up.
Yeah.
I come from this background. I have these reasons. This is why I do it. Really level with people. I'll respect you for that. Like, I mean, there's not a lot of examples of it, but like when LeBron came back to Cleveland, like he wrote that note that was like, I made a mistake whenever I left. I was ignorant. I shouldn't have done it that way. I really matured when I was in Miami. I tried to take on the villain role, but I realized that wasn't me. And he wrote that big long letter when he said, I'm back. And I literally forgave him in that instant. And I didn't think that I would, but it just seems so genuine in the way that he took the time to write down the words of what he truly felt and apologized for how he treated the city and then came back. I think that that's the route that these celebrities need to take when this type of stuff happens.
Catharsis.
I get that, but I also like if she were to come out and say, look, I fired that person because I didn't like them or because they were gay or because of something.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck you.
Sure.
Like, I don't think you're going to forgive her for it by any means.
I think it's just a matter of like, what did you learn and what are you going to do from there? Because like, I mean, maybe she's a shitty person deep down. That doesn't mean that she can't learn like, oh, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe she learns from the situation. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think there's opportunity for growth, to learn, to move forward with her, because here's the thing. The way she's treated past employees or current is fixable.
Yeah.
You have HR involved, you have different protocols involved to have things done better. I think about all of the good that she does, regardless of what goes on in backstage.
Sure.
And the people that might miss out or are going to be affected because she does step away from the show. She does a lot of good. She gives away a lot. That shouldn't overshadow the negative. But I think like you can, to your point, it could come out, confront it, say, look, we've had these issues in the past. This is what we're going to do going forward, which is what supposedly they were going to do. And she had wrote some, to your point, like some kind of apology letter.
Yeah.
She wrote a letter because she said, if this was COVID, she's been doing the show from home.
Right.
She said, I would much rather this be in person with my staff, with all of you face to face, but due to COVID, I can't do that. And she wrote some big, long, whatever, address to them. But I don't know. I don't know.
It kind of sucks because if she does step down, it hurts a lot more people than just her.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it is. It's the producers, it's the cameramen, it's the
She's been going for a long time. They do a lot of good.
Yeah.
It's sad to see someone like that who gives so much hope to really now be put in this negative light.
Well, and that's the thing is it's like, I feel like we always get these super positive people and then you get that letdown and you just don't get it back. Like when Robin Williams killed himself, it was heartbreaking to know that a person who brings people so much joy for decades could be going through something at that point. It brought awareness and like that, I guess, had some form of positivity that came from it because at least it like kind of opened people's eyes to anybody could be in this position.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with somebody that's just being like a bully, there's not really any positive that can come from that. And it's like, it's almost like when Bill Cosby came out as this rapist, and it's just like mind blowing that this family friendly person who's brought comedy to people's lives for forever is this way. I don't know if you can come back from it in certain ways, but I think that there's
not him.
He definitely can.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. But like, but Ellen,
She could
whenever
probably
like
have a
she could
redemption
come
story.
back. It's just, how do you show that you've truly learned something?
Yeah.
Okay, you take this hiatus. How are you going to come back? How are you going to prove to us that you're not going to be an asshole to the people that you're working with?
It's hard when you're publicly outed because people's immediate response or thought is, well, you're going to apologize because you got caught or because you want us to like you.
Sure.
So like her comeback, taking a break or not, people are going to always look at her with, well, she just wants to get back so she can start making money. Like, it's not genuine. Like, how do you really prove that? That's hard.
I don't think that you can. I mean, if it's somebody who's so generous with their money and their time and just the way that they carry themselves.
She needs to kind of do it off camera, like and prove. Not, I don't think publicly. I think that kind of
no. You need to do that with the people that you've wronged, and then
and
continue
not
to
making
do
a
better.
spectacle of it and make.
You
it
need
for
to learn
show.
your lesson and really rebound from it.
Yeah.
Like going back to the LeBron example, just because that's the only thing that I can really tie it to, but like you could see his maturity in his play in Miami and how he like approached different like interviews throughout the time. He didn't come right out and say, "Oh, I fucked up in Cleveland." It took him 4 years to come out and actually say it. But like you could tell they got more mature in Miami.
Absolutely.
And we still hated him because we got the more mature and more dominant LeBron not in Cleveland. And it sucked for us. But like you saw that maturity grow, and then he came back with that statement.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see that maturity grow on her end with the people in her personal life, righting those wrongs. Doesn't need to be publicized. Maybe they come out and say, "Hey, we buried the hatchet. She came back. She apologized, blah, blah, blah." And then next year she comes out and says, "Hey, this is what I learned and I'm sorry. And, this is what it is. It is what it is. If you were being a racist and a bully and all of these things, there's nothing you can do now. You've done those things." But that doesn't mean that's who you have to be going forward.
One thing I've always found interesting or struggled with trying to understand is how people of power or celebrities, people with money, find it so easy to treat people poorly when you have the ability to do so much good. In this case, like it be Ellen or be Epstein or Trump or Bill Clinton or whatever these people are that do these horrible things. And I don't know if it's like because we appreciate it more because we don't have that, like that we find so much pleasure in doing good and giving back as ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point and you feel like you can do whatever you want, but and I can only hypothesize it, but I feel like I already like to give back and do good within the community and like give as much as I can to people, that if I was in that position where I had extreme wealth and I was in a place to better people, that I would want to do it so much more. So that's like with her image of she portrays that, but then behind the scenes with the people that it matters most, the people that are working for her, she's treating them like shit. It's like, what? Why? I never understand that.
The thing is, with this country, we glamorize celebrity more than anyone else. And I think it's an ego boost. You're getting all this money, you're getting all this notoriety, all this attention, public attention, and you can't help but grow an ego because of it. And where that stands is,
why does that make you a bad person? Why does that change your mindset that you turn into this negative person rather than using that for good?
Because if people treat you special, you all of a sudden you open your eyes and you realize, I am special. And I think we won't realize that, obviously, because we're who we are. But I think somebody famous like Jesse said, LeBron, or somebody like Ellen DeGeneres, perfect examples, they're patterned a certain way, their whole lives, and it's like it catches up.
But to that point, like to LeBron, and again, there are a few that do well. You don't ever hear about him negatively. He's had an instance here or there a long time.
He's a horrible tipper.
Long time.
He is I was just going to say.
Still to date, is he though?
I know
like when he first
I'm not in LA, but.
Yeah, I know when he first got drafted and stuff. Like when he first started out, he was. A buddy of mine that did tattoos tattooed him. He said he didn't even like tip him or anything.
Oh my God.
I've heard awful stories, but he's grown. To this point, he gives back a lot. You don't really hear him in the media as far as like a negative light. But I agree with you. I mean, and I get that. But even not even celebrity, like a Jeff Bezos or a Steve Jobs. Like Steve Jobs was apparently horrible.
Yeah.
I guess he is a celebrity. I mean, he fucking ran Apple. But like, not a musician or a movie star or something. Even just CEOs
of pop culture icon.
Yeah,
but he thinks he's genius, and you'll never reach his genius. Is basically how he sees things.
He wasn't genius, though. I'll give that man
credit. Sure, but
yeah, I don't know.
It develops problems.
I've always struggled with that. I'm like, why can't you just do good and give back and use everything that you've earned and achieved to better other people? Like that's just money, man. Root of all evil is what they say, and it fucks you.
Steve Jobs even said the two most harmful words in the English language are "good job."
Yeah. Good old Steve Jobs, man. I like that guy though.
Whiplash, great movie.
Whiplash, yeah.
Whiplash that was a really good movie.
Not my tempo.
A little fast there.
All right. I think that's all. I don't even know what segment we were on. Made to Motivate?
No, we were on Hollywood Report.
Hollywood Report?
Hollywood.
We got to finish with locker room.
No,
we already did.
We started with locker room.
Yeah.
Why do
Are
you
we
keep
done?
trying to go back to
Are
sports?
we done?
We're done.
That's 3 hours. It's been 3 hours. I lost
Yeah.
track.
What are we on right now? This is a long episode.
3 hours.
God damn.
It was a good show. I knew we had a lot of topics. We didn't even hit on all of them.
Not quite my tempo.
Well, last week wasn't like you did the episode for an hour, so it's like we had to cover the stuff on that too. Yours was more of a
2
motivational
weeks.
speak. So
Yeah, 2 weeks of show. We didn't even hit everything. So
Yeah.
anyhow, if you stuck with us this long, thank you.
Yeah.
Share the show.
Go read the news if you want to hear about the other stuff we were going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about George Floyd. His video came out. Check
Yeah.
that out.
Oh, God, we didn't even get into that.
I don't think the video damns him in any way, honestly. Like, I mean, they did initially say he resisted, which in this video shows he did a little bit. I don't think that
I don't even know if you should try to summarize it. Just
whatever.
We can talk about that next week.
Go
There's
watch the
probably
George.
going to be more to it.
Go watch the George Floyd video. Whatever else. I don't even know what else we had. But until next week, like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Follow Chris's page. Follow Jesse's page.
The Film Freak.
Filmfreak.com.
Jesse Young,
Jesse
SI.
Young, SI on Twitter. Made to Motivate Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And if you're one of our new 10,000 likes, welcome.
Do we have 10,000 likes?
Should be in a couple days. We'll see.
If you're new to the show, share with a friend, and
Facebook manipulation.
we'll catch you on the flip side.
Podcast.
I've been fucking tipsy for like an hour.
I'll drink 4 of them in a night. I'll sit there and just